Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the digital world of football. Tonight's matchup versus Greenfield McClain and the Zane Trace Pioneers. Both teams are 2 wins, no losses so far on the season, so it's shaping up to be a really, really good matchup. I am going to be your host for the evening, Nate Luke, and I'm joined here tonight with...
Very, very excited to be here with y'all and do this again for week number 3 of the high school football season with Zane Trace and McClain. Looks like we have a great matchup, don't we, Nate?
Absolutely, absolutely. The weather's looking fantastic. Nice, cool 80 degrees, I might say. It's going to get nicer as the night goes on, a lot like last weekend.
Absolutely. Looks like there's a little breeze. I see the flags fluttering a little bit, so
absolutely,
they'll hopefully keep the players cool and those in the stands nice and cool.
They are fluttering away. So again, we want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight. We also want to thank once again, just all the fans, the players, coaches, administrators, and the Board of Education here at McClain, as well as anyone tuning in from Zane Trace. And just looking forward to a really fun, good night, just like last week. We had a heck of a game last week between McClain and McDermott Northwest. Snyder?
Yeah, came right down to the last little minute there. Minute 30 left. McClain punches in 2-point conversion to kind of seal the game, but that gave the Northwest team, who was really cruising that night, lots of time, and they were getting a drive going, and the McClain defense once again stood up and stopped them. It was a heck of a game, very exciting. And I am really hoping that this one is basically a repeat of the same.
Absolutely. So
I actually had a not to interrupt you, but I was talking to someone today who has a younger kid who started coming to these games, and he's like, "Man, Dad, I want to go again if it's going to be like that." And, I mean, as a former coach, I can tell you that I can guarantee you Keith Penwell does not want every single game to be like that. Yes, they are fun. Yes, they did win.
Absolutely.
But I think that it just the hair follicles just fall out almost automatically.
He's going to be looking like us real quick here
Absolutely.
soon if that keeps happening. So,
Absolutely.
And that's not a good thing. That's why you don't see us. So anyway, yeah, Snyder, it's shaping to be a good one here. Who won the coin toss?
Zane Trace won the coin toss, and they decided to defer to the second half. So McClain is going to receive the opening kickoff, and we'll see what Coach Penwell has for the first drive on offense.
Absolutely. Can't wait. Before we kind of get into tonight's action and some of the matchups and pregame stuff, we do want to just once again recognize a few sponsors before we get to that, starting with Merchants National Bank. Merchants National Bank, established in 1879, the Merchants National Bank is an independent institution built upon a foundation of financial strength and customer service. They specialize in providing exceptional service on a personal level and are large enough to provide financial products at competitive prices, yet small enough to know their customers. With 17 convenient offices to serve you in Ohio, Merchants National Bank is proud to be your local community bank, and I had no idea they had 17 branches.
That is a lot, but we know Blaine up here in Greenfield, and always willing to help whenever he can. It's a great sponsor for the school. Absolutely. We also have Jets Pro Embroidery. The fine folks at Jets Pro Embroidery are proud to be your local source for custom apparel and advertising. They provide design, screen printing, and embroidery services, and do so with style. Stop in to see the team today on Jefferson Street in Greenfield to see how they can take care of you.
And we'll go ahead and do one more advertisement here with White's Meat and Deli. White's Meat and Deli, located in Bainbridge, Ohio, is a locally owned and operated meat and deli. They offer some of the best primal cuts of meat in Southern Ohio and have a deli that is stocked with a wide selection of lunch meats and cheeses. They are even available for special orders. So whether you have a hankering for some bologna or cheese or a more refined palate, White's Meat and Deli has you covered. All right, so little change in direction here. So, Mr. Snyder, every week we try to do some keys to the game beforehand. And, we typically do a segment called Snyder's Buzz. If you don't know, Mr. Snyder is a big on the beekeeping circuit. So, Mr. Snyder, give us your Snyder's Buzz for this week.
All right. So, continuing the first 2 weeks, there seems to be a worrying trend with penalties. So I think that if McClain really wants to see that offense move the ball as much as they possibly can, they have absolutely got to minimize those penalties. Some penalties are just heat of the moment, but other ones are discipline. And I'm sure that Coach Pinwell has taken the time to address that this week in practice. And I mean, not to mention if you're on offense, they're drive killers. You turn a 2nd and 4 into a 2nd and 14, and it's just very, very difficult to overcome those penalties.
And we saw that a lot last week, especially. I mean, we'd gain 15, 20 yards on an Andrew Potts run, and it would just back up.
Yep, and that's and you kind of played right into the second point of my keys to today's game is stick to the game plan. And that's what, and last week, if you were watching or if you were here, Northwest went up 2 touchdowns in that second half, and there was still a lot of time left, but it felt like Northwest had McClain up on the ropes, and they were just working them. And the experience of Coach Gossett, as long as he's been doing this, he stuck to the game plan, and that led them back. They had tons of time, and they fed Andrew Potts. And I'll tell you what, in the second half of the second half, that fourth quarter, Andrew Potts was rolling, and I don't even know if a freight train could have stopped him.
The referee in that game certainly didn't.
Yes.
Felt really bad for the umpire that on that one run. So
he did get up. He shook it off but it was so it was kind of a scary moment. I mean, unless you're right next to these kids, you don't realize how big they are.
All right, and your last point, Mr. Snyder?
So they need to control the ball on both sides. Last week, McClain did very well controlling the ball on offense or controlling the line of scrimmage on offense. The line has got a lot of great push. That is a strength of this team. And then as the game wore on last week, we were able to get into the backfield of Northwest. So I think that if the defense is going to see success as well as the offense, it's all going to start with those 5 guys up front.
Absolutely, and I kept joking around with Andrew Potts during the week that even though he got SOSA Player of the Week, it was that offensive line that really pushed it and gave him that extra 3 or 4 yards here and there that they needed. So, yeah, really well played game by the offensive line last week. Really controlled, I felt like, both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, so really good job. We're going to go ahead and shut up for a second here, and we're going to give it to the Tiger Band and the McClain Cadet Corps for the fight song and the national anthem.
The band pays homage to our School of Beauty with the playing of the McClain Alma Mater. Next, the band reminds us that no matter what sideline you may cheer for, we come together as fellow Americans as they perform a precision block band drill to America the Beautiful.
Please rise for the colors, being carried by members of McClain's Cadet Corps. The Cadet Corps is under the charge of
John Wilson. And members of tonight's flag detail include Cadet Second Lieutenant Haley Brewer, Cadet Staff Sergeant James Brown, Cadet Third Class Abigail Couch, and the team is commanded this evening by Cadet Captain Madison Wheaton. And now, under the baton of Mr. Rick Duffus, ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing and join in singing as the band honors America with the playing of our national anthem, the Star-Spangled Banner.
Once again, that was the McClain Band under the direction of Director Rick Duffus, the McClain Cadet Corps under the direction of Master Sergeant John Wilson, and the McClain Tigerettes under the direction of Miss Toddy Weeks. Once again, very good job to all who bring honor to our country. So, Mr. Snyder, you mentioned your keys to the game and Snyder's Buzz. Let's do a quick recap of Zane Trace's game last week. I believe they played Madison Plains to make them 2-0 so far on the year, and I believe that was a 40-0 score in favor of Zane Trace.
selling season sports passes located between the home bleachers and the field house. Student tickets along with senior citizens.
So Zane Trace ended up beating Madison Plains 40-0 last week. And Zane Trace is considered to be one of the top teams in the SVC. So this is going to be a heck of a matchup. Quarterback Carter Langley threw for 123 yards with 2 touchdowns to Aiden Dunn and Austin Eisen. Both had 100 yards combined receiving. Running back Daniel Barnhart had 122 yards with 3 touchdowns. And then they had a defensive player, Lane Stewart, get 2 sacks last week. So it kind of sounds like they might run a very similar offense to us, very run heavy, and then hit you with a quick pass.
Yeah, I've heard through various circles that they tend to kind of pack it in a little bit and let some of their powerful running backs have at it. And with McClain's game last week, they moved to 2-0 on the year with a 36-35 win over McDermott Northwest. So McClain went up early, had to claw back after Northwest was able to control most of the second and third quarters. Defense was big, especially in the fourth quarter, forcing those turnover on downs and getting pressure to stifle Northwest's passing game.
Absolutely.
For stats last week, too, just want to mention, too, Andrew Potts, Sosa Player of the Week, 175 yards rushing on 30 carries, essentially 6 yards a carry on the night with 3 touchdowns. And with a game-ending walk-off sack, that was probably the biggest play of the night he made. And Caden Penwell, can't say enough about him, back in the backfield along with Mr. Potts. 76 yards receiving, 30 yards rushing. Drake Stapleton, heck of a game as well, 9 for 17 for 157 yards, two touchdowns. He did have 2 interceptions, returned back 4 touchdowns. Very good plays by McDermott Northwest. I believe Connor Lentz was one of those.
Yep.
Very good player from Northwest. He kind of carried him last week.
Well, the thing is, the crazy thing about that is, even though they let up 35 points, only 2 of those were offensive touchdowns, and one of those offensive touchdowns was on a shortened field. Right. So this McClain defense it's something to deal with.
It is, absolutely. McDermott had some big plays there, some breaks, I will say, with penalties because of McClain.
Yep.
If we can put those to sleep tonight, those penalties, I can see McClain doing some really good things. And once again, just before we move on here, Max Eichenberry had 5 catches last week, 2 of them for touchdowns. I can't imagine for the life of me that Drake Stapleton is not going to look his way quite frequently.
What a weapon Max Eichenberry is. Over the top, great hands, breakaway speed. There's probably no one in the league that is in pads faster than him. Maybe as fast, but he is very quick.
Pre-game festivities. The toss was won by the Pioneers. They elected to defer to the second half. The Tigers will receive.
All right, so looks like the Tigers will receive here. Sorry, we had some technical difficulties we had to get through there. So just a look ahead here, next games, McClain will travel away to East Clinton for non-conference, and Zane Trace will have their first SVC matchup versus Piketon at home. That is next week. Of course, that's a while away. We still got quite a few minutes of gameplay until we get to that point. So once again, we want to thank also our referees for the evening. We believe we have about 6 referees tonight, / umpires, starting with Bernard Hensley, Tony Payne, Mike DePriest, Zach Kula, Justin Meester, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, and Caleb Eplione. So once again, thank you to our referees / umpires for the evening. We greatly appreciate what they're doing. And it's a hard job to be a ref / umpire, and we're have a clear shortage of them. Mr. Snyder, it's been like this for about 2 years. So once again, thank you to all the officials out there in any sport for what you're doing.
Absolutely. And if you're one of the people that like to yell at the officials, just remember that they are making the best judgment calls in the heat of the moment, the best they can, as quick as they can.
And remember, their call is probably better than yours.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. So respect them 100%. All right, so we are 15 seconds from game action here.
And looking at this, just looking at the lineup here, I'm wondering if Zane Trace is going to try it squib it or onside it like McClain did last year.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to kind of rush everybody to the line and try to get that short kick. It looks like McClain's ready for it. They got 2 back at deep with Riley Cummins and Max Eichenberry. And it looks like number 79 for Zane Trace, I believe. I actually do not have his number. No number. He will be kicking. And they fake it here. Little razzle-dazzle. McClain's going to back up to adjust.
Pioneers number 79 to kick.
All right, so 79 back to kick here.
Max Eichenberry deep for the Tigers.
So we have Riley Cummins and Max Eikenberry deep, just waiting to see how this kick's going to go here. To go 79, running up to the ball.
Pretty solid kick goes to Max Eikenberry. He's going to let it one hop. He picks it up around his own 10-yard line, breaks a couple tackles, goes to the middle, gets to about his own 28-yard line. Good return there by Max Eikenberry.
Yep, good coverage. I mean, that's about all you can ask for right there. Getting a good starting position. You got about 72 yards to go here, so we'll see what Coach Pinwell gets going.
Absolutely, and you got to think he's going to start with a heavy dose of Andrew Potts this game.
Well, that's the interesting thing is we didn't really touch on in the pregame is that we have two backs.
Absolutely.
So all the films for Andrew Potts this week, but we have Pinwell back there who's just as solid of a running back.
Absolutely, they're two different styles, but they split both running backs out wide. Pinwell in motion here, and that looks to be going to be an offside on Zane Trace, number 3. That is Lane Stewart.
So right as we're talking about how good the running backs are, Coach Gossett dials up 5 wide looking to pass it, and it shifted them, Zane Trace, into uncomfortableness, and they jumped across.
Absolutely. So McClain will put their running backs out wide again. Similar feature here. Stapleton back, Pinwell in motion. Once again, that might –
Once
and
again,
that's going to be
encroachment.
offsides, number 3 and number 80.
That is a free first down, but it looks like Zane Trace is pointing to center Rocky Jeffers, saying that he might be moving that ball.
That will move the sticks.
Or excuse me, that's not Rocky.
Tigers, first down.
Jaden Allison, I'm sorry.
Allison, yep, Jaden Allison's the center. All right, so it looks like Zane Trace, they're going to bring everyone close to the line here. They have no deep safety here. They're doing everything man-to-man. Pinwell in motion yet again. Stapleton back to pass, looks middle to Eikenberry, nearly picked off by number 15, Drew Lane.
Stapleton's pass incomplete.
Stapleton had good time right there. A lot of time in the pocket. One thing that a lot of passing games here at McClain have struggled to have is time back in that pocket. So he has time to find that open receiver. That time he was looking Max Eikenberry the whole way. Hopefully as this game progresses, he's able to calm down and start looking to the second and third routes on his progressions.
Absolutely, and Zane Trace really dropped their linebackers back in that zone coverage there. Kind of fooled Stapleton a little bit. Stapleton pitches to Potts out left. He's got some room, cuts it back in, and gets tackled by number 80. Again, no number for Zane Trace there, or no name, sorry.
So that was a stretch play out to the left side, the boundary side, and they're trying to cut that corner, but Zane Trace had good pursuit angles. So we'll see what with about 3rd and 6, we'll see what McClain does. This is kind of a tough situation here because with that first down incomplete, it kind of forces you into a 3rd and long if you don't get big yardage on that second one.
Absolutely. 3 out wide here with Stapleton back in the shotgun. Looks to pass. Looks to the right. Gets it to Potts. He's going to pick up the first down and more. Big pickup by Andrew Potts. He's just carrying people.
Absolutely. And if you watch that, just look how big Andrew Potts is compared to the secondary. I mean, there are 2 of them fitting inside one of his shoulder pads. It is tough to bring him down, but slipping that receiver out the backfield, that is tough to cover because you're getting those deep routes early, and then your linebackers are dropping in coverage with them. But then Andrew Potts is wide open with the head of steam.
Absolutely, trampling over the defense. Here we go. 3 wide receivers. Potts single back in the backfield with Stapleton. He gets the handoff middle, maybe a yard or 2 if he's lucky.
Ooh, we have a fumble flag out. We might call those penalty flags. They are orange. It's difficult to see, but the ref on this side is calling that he was down.
So pickup of 2 on the play. That will bring up a 2nd and 8.
Heavy dose of Andrew Potts early today early in this game after that quick pass over to Max Eikenberry. We've had 3 in a row to Andrew Potts.
I like what I'm seeing so far. They're taking their time. They're getting some open passing lanes here.
It's not about scoring on every single play. It's about setting up your game plan.
Stapleton to handoff, but they're going to call that dead. Looks like false start on McClain.
Flag on the play. False start going against the offense.
That will bring it back 5 yards.
So there it is.
That will replay it down. 2nd and 13.
Switches 2nd and 13
Ball
or 2nd and 8
34.
to 2nd and 13. So 2nd and 8, you have the whole playbook ahead of you. Now you're looking at long downs, and it's going to be it tightens the playbook for Coach Gossett. So McClain breaks the huddle here. It looks like they are going with a trip set to the far side, the boundary side.
Potts in motion here. Empty backfield, and that might be another offsides on Zane Trace. We'll see, though. And that's going to be offsides.
Encroachment.
So 3 encroachment penalties so far on number 3 for Zane Trace.
The other way.
And as McClain, we'll take that. I mean, there's that false start penalty back. It looks like there's a lot of pregame jitters going on. And with Zane Trace jumping off, that's 3 times on this opening drive.
Absolutely.
So we'll see if they can settle down. But as far as McClain's concerned, they're going to keep taking it.
Looks like number 4, Connor McCune, is in, along with number 5, Owen Sykes. Stapleton in the backfield, split back. Handoff to Potts to the right. Shakes the defender. Keeps trucking ahead, and that's going to be a first down.
Still on his feet
Still
out of
on
bounds.
his feet out of bounds. Good, solid. Looked to be about 10 to 12 yards on the play.
If you're Zane Trace, you got to be a little bit concerned early on in this game, as Andrew Potts appears to picked up right where he left off with the full head of steam.
Absolutely.
He's carried this team all the way down. Pretty much every positive yard has been Andrew Potts so far.
And once again, I keep complimenting this offensive line, man. You got to hand it to the big boys up front. They are doing their job so far.
Well, what you need to do is you watch that front 5, and if they get that 2-yard push,
they did their job.
Not so much that time. But if they can get that 2-yard push, I mean, that's huge. That's huge to the running back, because now you got your eyes up. You can see what's ahead of you. You can see the holes instead of having to worry about that first defender.
Absolutely. So that will bring up a 2nd down and 9 on the 20-yard line. 9 minutes to go in the first quarter.
Connor McCune running in with the rabbit system here.
Does Zane Trace, do they, with the running game, how it is on this first drive, do they be patient, or do they kind of bring up that high safety a little bit more?
Well, with spreading them out, they have 7 in the box. They're in 4-3 right now, bringing them into safety. So that's a really light box. We have an option coming out this side. Drake Stapleton
Stiff arms
controls
the
it.
defender. Just can't quite shake him there, but he's going to pick up at least a yard or 2 on the play.
Stapleton on the option keeper.
That's going to bring up about a 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7.
And obviously, at this point in time, I'm not sure. It's kind of one of those, how much are you going to test your senior kicker, Emerson Yates, as this is still a far field goal. So my guess is it's still in 4-down territory early in this game. If you can get a touchdown on your opening drive, that'll set the tempo for the rest of this first half and hopefully the rest of the game for McClain Tigers.
Absolutely. So 3rd and 6 to go. Stapleton back in the shotgun. Potts beside him. He's going to drop back to pass, looks right. He's going to run, and he's going to be taken down quickly.
So it'll be 4th and 5.
Looks like number 3, Lane Stewart.
So now the question is, what does Coach Penwell decide to do here? He did have a guy coming in his face pretty quick there, which is why he pulled that down early. He wasn't really looking to run on that play, but he had a guy coming to hit him real quick, and he pulled it down and picked up what he could. That's a good decision by your junior quarterback, Drake Stapleton.
Absolutely. So 4th down and 5. Coach Penwell's going to go for it. He's going to bring trips wide to the right.
Andrew Potts is out there making trips wide.
Max Eichenberry in motion. Stapleton back in the shotgun. Looks back to pass. Looks middle. He's going to take off, and he's just not quite going to get there. He's brought down by number 4, Blake Phillips.
That is a tough way for this drive, and I'm willing to bet that was a designed run. Drake Stapleton didn't really look at his receivers very much. He knew that without that motion, or with sending Max Eichenberry in motion, that right edge would be softer, and that's what he was shooting for, but he didn't quite get it.
Absolutely. So that will bring up a turnover on downs by the Tigers. Ball will be on the 12. Zane Trace will take over.
And with them this deep, do you think that McClain's going to be looking to bring that heat early, see if he can pin him back a little bit more?
The way the defense was playing last week and the week before, this is an advantageous defense here. We'll see what happens, but I would say Zane Trace is probably going to run it just based off their heavy formation here. So number 44, Daniel Barnhart, is going to take off. He's going to rumble ahead for about 8 to 9 yards, it looks like.
So Barnhart had 120 yards last week, and it might just be the Andrew Potts in reverse here. He got an early feed and fell forward for a total of 5 yards. So McClain might be looking to bring that heat from the linebackers up a little bit quicker. But just like we said in pregame, that Zane Trace does have an arm, so you got to make sure you stay in your 3-deep coverage.
Absolutely, and McClain's going to be in that 3-deep 4-4 look. Give to 41, Riley Hartsaw. I believe that was Riley Hartzell. Yes, it was.
So 3rd and 4. Now this is going to be the playbook still open here for Zane Trace. You can either run or pass here, and that makes it more challenging for Coach Penwell on the defense down there on the sideline as to where you want to put your linebackers. Do you want them dropping back in coverage, or do you want them up in man-to-man, which will stop that run a lot quicker?
All right, so the 3rd down bells come out, 3rd and 4 to go, ball on the 19, 6 minutes left to go in the first quarter. They're going to line up in the heavy set here. Langley back to pass, he's looking left, he's under pressure, he chucks it up. Oh!
And that is going to be an offensive pass interference.
That's going to come back.
Max Eichenberry needs to tackle him just in case.
Just in case. But flag is down on the field. There was a push in the back there by the Zane Trace receiver.
But it looks like that, yes. So that was pretty clear push as the defender was backpedaling there to make a play on the ball. Zane Trace is, you're just trying to make a play. You're a kid. You want to high point it, and you want every advantage as you can get. So it was just a heat of the moment play, but that one will be coming back.
Absolutely. Nonetheless, great catch.
Yeah.
Still had to go over defender, so props there.
That's a tough one to run all the way down there and then have that to come back.
Yep, absolutely. And that's very indicative of what was happening to us last week. You know, we have a big play, a penalty ensues, comes right back.
So early on, Zane Trace is having trouble with penalties. So now it's looking at 3rd and about 11 or 12, which closes the playbook. I'll be talking about the playbook a lot. So chances are I'm expecting a pass here again. They passed on 3rd and 4. Chances are they're going to be passing here so that you'll want your linebackers dropping back in coverage as much as possible, covering those flats, those easy pass routes, force them to pass deeper.
Absolutely. All right, so Zane Trace will come out in the shotgun, Langley in the shotgun, and it looks like trips wide receivers to the right. And he's going to design run up the middle. He's going to take it for the first down. Frost misses the tackle for McClain. He's going to keep going, and he outruns the McClain defender, number 24, Emerson Yates, and Carter Langley. He's going to take it to the house. Big play, about 79 yards on the run.
Great call by Zane Trace's offensive coordinator there. McClain was doing exactly what I said they would do there, dropping back in pass coverage. You have a little quarterback draw there. Take 2 steps back, act like you're passing, tuck it, run. It's great to have athletes back there.
Absolutely. It really opens up the gap between the defensive end and the D tackle there, and that's exactly what happened. So your score with 5:30 left to go in the first quarter, Zane Trace 6, McClain 0. Looks like Zane Trace is going to come up in kind of that wacky field goal set. I don't know
this is the muddle huddle.
The muddle huddle, that's right. Thank you. I couldn't think of it. And they're going to bring it back.
It always
number 79, Noah Fetter for the
always
kicker.
makes you cover it. So Zane Trace looking to make it 7-0 here.
Langley to hold. Snap is back. Kick is up, and it is good. That will make your score 7-0, Zane Trace.
Well, it's a tough start there for McClain. You have that great offensive drive. Your defense is actually holding them.
Yep.
And then they had the offensive pass interference. They got a break there. And then just as you're thinking that they have them trapped, they have them cornered, 3rd and long, Zane Trace busted open for a huge, let their athletes be athletes, let them open up for a huge run there.
Don't forget to stop by.
All right, and as we are waiting here, I'd like to just go ahead and read out a couple more sponsors for tonight's game. Let me get to the right spot here. Commercial Cleaning Solutions, located on State Route 138 near Greenfield. Commercial Cleaning Solutions, Inc. is a full-service janitorial company that prides itself on total customer satisfaction and high-performance standards. No matter the job, they are equipped to provide you with excellent customer care. Call today at 937-981-4870. And Mr. Snyder, I did forget to mention as well, we will have another round of Tiger Trivia tonight at halftime. You, my friend, are a big history buff, so
yes.
You may like this one.
Well, good. I'd like any time, though, we can throw out a little bit of history trivia out there.
Absolutely. This will be Greenfield history, not just McClain Tiger history.
Well,
so
Greenfield's got a great history in and of itself.
Absolutely.
You'd be surprised at how often Greenfield pops up in the history books.
Absolutely. So we will have a prize for the winner of that. So, again, stick around until the beginning of the fourth quarter when we'll announce the winner, and we'll go ahead and say the question around halftime.
So if you see what Zane Trace is doing there, he laid the kick or the ball beside the tee. If Greenfield is not lined up to recover an onside kick, he is allowed to kick it off the tee like that. So that's an actual audible that they have to see if Greenfield is going to react to what they're doing. And if they don't, it's a weakness, just like the muddle huddle.
That's why we keep you around, Mr. Snyder.
I hope there's more than that, but probably not.
That's about it. All right, number 79, Federer. Ooh, good catch there by McClain, front linesman there.
So it looks like Zane Trace is going to be able to kick it up, kick it down. They have the onside ready to go, so they're going to throw a whole bunch at McClain. So they always need to be on their feet or on their toes, ready to react to anything that's sent their way.
And great heads-up play by Robbie Wise there. That's not something you see every day.
Nope.
Person in the front just going ahead and scooping it up themselves.
Nope, and that was a direct kick. He was trying to kick it as hard as he could at someone. So good job, Robbie Wise. Way to recover, nice. get on it, and not do too much with it.
All right, trips wide for McClain. Actually, double wide there. Caden Pinwell with the hand, and he's going to come way back there. That's going to be a loss of about 5 on the play. So number 44, Daniel Barnhart for Zane Trace.
That was an end around right there, and it's all about what that backside defensive end does. And that was a very good play by Barnhart there. He stood where he's supposed to stand, got heel depth, and Penwell really didn't have anywhere to go.
Absolutely not. As soon as he got it, he was pretty much going down. Great play there by Mr. Barnhart. All right, Tigers line up again. And it looks like this time Stapleton will be back in the shotgun with Potts in the backfield, 3 wide receivers. 1 tight end. Potts in motion to the right. Stapleton gets it. Looks middle. Great pocket formation there. Just can't quite get it to number 12, Caden Pinwell.
The very indecisive there by Drake Stapleton. If we could replay it, we'd watch how many times he pump faked it. He made a decision, pulled it back, made a decision again, pulled it back. Best thing he could have done there probably would have been to run as that pocket was collapsing on him.
Absolutely. Great pocket, though, by the offensive line. Again, great pass protection really all season from what I've seen.
Yeah, he had time to throw it. Great coverage by Zane Trace.
All right, so once again, Zane Trace looks like they're going to have 4 defensive backs, 3 linebackers, 4 down linemen. Typical 4-3 set here for McClain. The split backs with Potts and Pinwell in the backfield. Zane Trace going to bring a safety down, whistle.
And that's going to get a little bit longer.
So that is going to take it to about a 3rd and 19 for McClain. That's going to put the ball on their own 34-yard line. Or I'm sorry, Zane Trace's 34-yard line.
Very penalty heavy early on in this game. That made a tough situation that much tougher. I didn't see who moved. Did you?
I did not.
But any time once the down linemen put their hands down, a flinch of any kind that could draw the defense across that ball line is a false start. So that might be what that far side ref saw.
Yeah. All right, so Burchett brought the play in. Looks like Potts will be in motion. He'll split out wide. Stapleton alone in the backfield. He'll receive the snap. Looks for Potts, and that's going to be intercepted by number 7, Langley again. He's going to keep going. Same man who scored the touchdown for Zane Trace just a few short minutes ago comes up with the big interception off Stapleton.
That is tough. Thrown behind Andrew Potts. He kind of reached back for it, but it ended up just tipping it up in the air. So it does look like number 7, Carter Langley, is down on the field, so he's going to be attended to for a moment. So while he is attended to, we will
go ahead and read some advertisements here. Go ahead, Mr. Snyder.
With Corner Pharmacy. At Corner Health Mart, they have been taking care of customers in the Greenfield area and beyond since 1948. Their pharmacy specializes in serving the community with fast, friendly, professional service and high-quality medicines and health products. You'll always be greeted by name, and their pharmacists take the time to counsel you and answer your questions. They offer free delivery, or you can stop in to their location on the corner of Jefferson and Washington Street in Greenfield, or pull up to their convenient drive-in or drive-up. Corner Pharmacy would also like to remind you that flu season is here, so it's time to get your yearly flu immunization. Walk-ins are welcome, and you can call at 937-981-2454 for assistance.
And also, we'd like to thank NCB. At National Cooperative Bank, their cooperative and community development mission has guided them for over 40 years and is a critical component of what defines their institution. As part of its enabling legislation, NCB has an uncommon mandate to ensure their efforts benefit those most in need, supporting low-income communities and cooperative expansion initiatives. Whether you are a small business needing a loan to expand or an individual looking to open a savings account makes an impact, NCB Solutions or has solutions for you. NCB located at 139 South High Street, Hillsboro, OH.
Quality T Design, your one-stop shop in South Central Ohio for custom screen printing and embroidery, team uniforms and apparel, trophies, banners, and more. Find them today at 1270 US Route 22 in Washington Courthouse, or visit their webpage at www.qualitydesign.com, and that's quality spelled with 2 E's.
All right, and one more advertisement here. CNC Barbershop. Need a cut, trim, shave, or new style? CNC Barbershop has you covered. When you sit down in the chair, you'll be greeted with attention to detail, and you'll always finish with a refreshing hot towel. Great for these cooler months, whether you're growing a mullet or have come to your senses. That's funny. CNC is the place to be for a great cut and a great time.
All right, so if we could, let's go back to a little bit of analysis here. As Carter Langley is still down, we're hoping for the best for him, as there's a handful of trainers around him trying to help him out as much as possible. First impressions with 4:30 left in the first quarter. What are you thinking?
So, obviously, I mean, you said it last week. You know, McClain got down 2 touchdowns, and that was in the third quarter, right? We're still a little over midway in the first. No reason to panic right now. I know Zane Trace has it on their side of the field, but, again, we've been in this situation before. Against, again, another good team like Zane Trace, and we've kind of come back from it and come out on top. So, again, no reason to panic for the Tigers here. They just got to show that grit that they were showing last week, try to channel that and see where it goes. And
I think that McClain also has a lot of offensive weapons that can keep them in these run-and-gun type games. I mean, last week they scored 36. I'm not sure. I'm drawing a blank on how many they scored week 1, but they have the skills, they have the speed. So even if they get down another touchdown here, like you said, there's no reason to panic whatsoever. Langley is now getting up, walking off the field on his own power, so that's excellent. Hopefully he is in a quick recovery mode, and we'll get back to football.
We wish Mr. Langley the best. Quick recovery there. All right, so the Tigers will ensue on defense here, and Zane Trace will come back out. This time it will be with a new quarterback, at least for the time being, as Langley is going to remain off the field for at least a short period of time.
Septic, Southern Hills Community Bank, the Rusty K, Donald's of Greenfield.
So McClain's going to line up in their 4-3 defense. Zane Trace has had a moment to talk about what they want to do here. Huge change in momentum here. And now we have number 11, Gunnar McCullough, freshman quarterback, lining up behind center in the shotgun.
All right, hands off to number 46.
Stopped
Connor
in the
Smith.
backfield. Quick stop, running off that end there.
Didn't get a number. Looked like Caden Pinwell.
Yep, Caden Pinwell.
Caden Pinwell, number 12. For
Very
McClain.
quick. Met him right at the backfield, gain of 0. So now we have a freshman in the back there with Gunnar McCullough. But the thing is, Zane Trace has the horses that they can run out of the backfield like that. So I'm thinking it's just stay business as usual for the guys in white over there.
Absolutely. All right, so we are looking at a 2nd and 10 ball on the 32, a little under 4 minutes to go left in the first. Zane Trace will, looks like Gunnar McCullough will line up under center this time, split backs. Barnhart takes it, runs over number 63, Connor Frazier, but Connor Frazier stands in there, takes him down.
And it looks like Coach Penwell is actually being pretty aggressive with his linebackers, because there were also linebackers in the backfield. So one of the keys to the game is who's going to control the line of scrimmage. And as of right now, Greenfield, even though they're down and in a dire position, they have been able to control that line of scrimmage on both sides. Offensively, great pocket protection. Defensively, they're hitting them in the backfield behind the line of scrimmage.
Right. And you know, as we've said before, the McClain defense has been stout.
Yep.
You know, again, big play, an interception, or a long run by Langley there. But otherwise, pretty stout by the McClain defense.
So Zane Trace might have
Timeout
seen
on
something
the
they
field.
didn't like, so they got a timeout there. So now Coach Pendle's going to talk to his boys. 3rd and 7, and I'm going to stop trying to call what they're going to do, because last time I was about as far off as you could get So with 3rd and 7, McClain is probably just going to drop back in pass coverage. I know I said I wouldn't try, but I'm not going to try to guess what Zane
I'll
Trace
go ahead
is
and
doing.
call it Hail Mary right here.
Hail Mary, there he
Hail
is once
Mary.
again. So those of us who are following other McClain sports, the next time the cross country will be in action will be September 10th at Zane Trace. So it looks like our cross country boys and girls will be taking on the Zane Trace Pioneers as well.
As
in
well
their
as
matchup.
many other teams.
Absolutely.
Yes,
It's kind
that's
of
always a big meet.
Kind of. Oh, is that a big one? As a former cross country coach, is that a pretty big meet?
That's a pretty big meet over there, Zane Trace, and they have about the worst possible hill you have to run up and down.
Okay. Okay.
Just, and you've probably been there, Mr. Snyder. You've probably seen the hill. It's just the one right off the football field. It's
quite daunting.
A monster. It
quite
is
daunting.
Quite daunting, indeed. All right, so Zane Trace will come back out here, and we'll get back to some other sports here in a few. So it looks like McCullough will still be in the shotgun here. Barnhart in the backfield with him. McCullough looks to the left, and that's going to be low. And it was close to maybe being behind the line, but not quite.
So we'll see if Zane Trace decides to go for it here or punt it and try to pin Greenfield deep in their own territory.
And it looks like the offense is going to stay out on the field.
Well, I don't know who their punter is. Could be 79 who drops back, but it does. Yep, you are correct. It looks like they're going to go for it on 4th down here.
And again, it's just on the 29-yard line. So field position is very, very important, obviously here. But
if it goes in the end zone, it's just going to be a change of 9 yards.
Absolutely. All right, so McCullough will be back in the shotgun. Barnhart with him. He looks to the right. Big pass to number
Great
6.
pass.
6, Aiden Dunn. Sophomore.
And he continues, breaks the
Yeah.
DJ Frost tackle, and continues and gets it down to about the 2-yard line. Now, once again, I wish we could replay it because what a great pass by McCullough right there. The thing is, that was a go comeback, and he threw it right at the perfect time, right before he broke, as DJ Frost was still backpedaling.
Yes,
great pass.
Fantastic timing there by both the quarterback McCullough and the receiver Dunn there. And I might say, McCullough's a freshman, Dunn is a sophomore, so
great connection there.
For that rhythm to happen there, fantastic. McCullough's going to be under center this time, split backs in the backfield. He's going to receive the snap, hands it to, I think, number 41. And
we have a Zane Trace touchdown. So McClain will now go down 13-0 with 2:26 remaining. Rough start after that great opening drive for McClain.
And it looks like maybe instead number 46, Connor Smith.
46, Connor Smith.
So Zane Trace will come out in that muddle huddle. So the thing is here, you have a quarterback back there. If McClain doesn't adjust to it, you snap the ball to the quarterback, he throws it to 44, walks in for a touchdown. So Greenfield is adjusted to it. So here comes the audible, would be my guess.
And you are correct. And Noah Fetter's going to go back to kick.
A lot of things you can do out of the mud hole. That's the great thing about this sport is there's so many wrinkles that you can throw in there to give yourself that slight advantage. And that's something that a lot of teams do is the mud huddle.
All right, so he's back to kick. Kick is up, and it is good. So that will make your score. Zane Trace, 14. The McClain Tigers, 0, with 2:26 left to go in the first quarter. So once again, not time to panic by any means. Been here, done that. But what obviously needs to change here?
So I think for the rest of this first half, I mean, it could be a tale of two cities or tale two halves. But I think for this first half, this drive is absolutely pivotal. Get back to seeing that positivity, seeing the ball moving forward. So I would expect heavy pots. I wouldn't expect too many passes because they were moving the ball. They had to control that line of scrimmage. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of Andrew Potts run the ball here, see if they can get back to that rhythm.
I concur.
And Andrew Potts looks like he was a little confused. He was sitting over here on the sideline trying to get a breather after that defensive stand.
All right, and as we're waiting for that, we'd like to thank McDonald's of Greenfield. Everyone knows the Golden Arches for their perfectly crafted Big Mac and delicious fries, but more than the menu, McDonald's of Greenfield takes pride in the value they provide to the community. We are loving it.
That is true. Always a line wrapping around the building at McDonald's.
Always.
Doesn't matter if I'm coming in.
You can never escape it.
That is true. It doesn't matter if I'm coming into school or if I'm going home after this. I guarantee you.
And we got to give Mr. Jack Hatton a big shout out.
Absolutely.
The manager over there, he's always a big supportive figure for McClain Athletics and just the school in general. Anytime
we need something, we look to McDonald's as one of our first people we stop, and they're always more than willing. It's great.
Absolutely. They may not show it, but they are always more than
yes.
Well, or they may not always
seem too excited.
Seem too excited, yes, thank you.
But they are always more than willing to help.
Absolutely. All right, so Fetters will be back to kick here. And we'll see what they do here. He's been having some decent kicks
slip
here.
kick.
And that's going to go to number 14, Cam Medley. He's just going to take it down out of bounds. Tackled by number 20 for Zane Trace, Silas Stewart.
So here comes the McClain offense. I think that's where the confusion was with Andrew Potts. He was trying to get a breather there on kickoff while he's getting ready for the offensive series. So they're calling for I heard him yell ones, so he must be part of the ones on kickoff return, trying to shore up that special teams that they've been struggling with.
All right, so it looks like Sykes, McCune, and Eikenberry out wide with Potts and Pinwell in the backfield with Stapleton. Stapleton's going to get it in the pistol, hands it to Pinwell, shakes and bakes a little bit. He's still on his feet. He's going to go. He's going to pick up about 6 to 7 yards on the play.
Great start to this McClain drive. I wouldn't be surprised if they'd even try a little bit of tempo here. Just get that momentum going back, that positivity. I haven't seen Pinwell have too many carries for big yardage. It's always been the heavy Andrew Potts, so it's good to see him run his wheels a little bit and get some good yardage here on first down.
Absolutely, and there's some lanes opening up there, so you expect someone, Mr. Pinwell's got some good lateral movement. He'll find those lanes. Stapleton pitches to Pinwell here. And he's going to be met at the line, but he's going to shuffle on over for the first down. Great play by Pinwell.
Great job embracing that hit. And just continuing to move his feet by Caden Pinwell. So that was a toss outside. He didn't see the lanes opening up in front of him, but that cornerback came up to make a great play short of the first down. Pinwell embraces it, spins off of it, and ends up getting a first down for the McClain. So now we're rolling. Now McClain's starting to pick up that momentum.
All right, so it'll start with Eikenberry, Sykes, and McCune out wide for McClain. Stapleton gets it in the backfield. And he's going to hand to Potts. He's going to take it right up the middle. He trucks for about a good solid 4 yards there.
Pushing 5, I'd even say.
Yeah.
I mean, and the thing is, Potts doesn't need 20 yards per time. He's like a diesel engine. Pinwell can be our normal gas engine. Diesel, you want to get it warmed up. Once it's warmed up, there's no stopping him. So he's okay with those 5. That will save his legs for later. Keep churning them.
That was a great analogy.
Thank you. I've been saving that one.
I know. You're so good at analogies. Here we go. Split back. Stapleton. He will receive it. Hands it to Potts. He's going to bring it back to the middle. He's going to truck for about 2 to 3 yards there on the play.
So we're looking at 3rd and 3 here.
Good play by Nayland Robinson, bringing him down.
So it might look like Zane Trace is sitting in there in a 4-2 nickel package, but they're in a 4-3. But when McClain puts that split out there, they're covering that with their linebacker instead of their safety, which should open up a lot more running. Traditionally you get your linebackers who are heavier, and your free safeties coming up who are a little bit more agile, less muscle mass.
All right, so McCune, Sykes, and Eikenberry out wide again. Stapleton with split backs.
And they'll take it into the quarter. I'm not sure if they're aware the quarter was rolling to an end, but great end of the first quarter for the Greenfield-McClain Tigers. But at the end of the first, we have 14-0, Zane Trace leading Greenfield-McClain. A quick little recap of that first quarter. Greenfield started off with a great opening drive, which ended on a turnover on downs. And then the defense seemed to be holding the Zane Trace to where they needed to be. And then on 3rd and 11, Zane Trace busted open a touchdown on a huge quarterback draw run. Then the next possession for Greenfield, Drake Stapleton threw a little bit behind Andrew Potts for an interception, which Zane Trace was able to punch in for their second score of the evening.
Absolutely. Hey, Bradley. Can I call you Bradley? Oh, my gosh. I'm so sorry, Brad. Brad, boys soccer schedule. This just reminded me. Brad, pull up the video. Can we pull up the video of Emerson Yates' 50 50-yard kick at Miami Trace the other night. You guys got to watch this. This is a fantastic kick. We got a little bit of time here, I think. So if you'll see, this is Sports Center top 10 worthy.
That soccer ball's right in the middle of the
right
white.
in the middle. So Emerson's going to drop back and kick it, and that thing just soars past the goalkeeper. That was a fantastic kick. So we had to show that. Big shout out to Emerson Yates on that kick. That was on Tuesday night.
That's Greenfield's kicker right there, folks.
Absolutely. All right, back to the game action here. Stapleton will get it in the shotgun here. He gives it to Potts. Oh, fakes it to Potts.
And he read it correctly.
Absolutely.
That's harkening back to the veer formation that Greenfield McClain has been running for the last 3 years. Watching that end, and they're in the idea that Andrew Potts is going to get it. So that D tackle came, crashed on Potts. Great pull read, gets a first down. Great job for Drake Stapleton.
Absolutely. Had me fooled. Had me fooled. That's not something, we saw that for the past 3 years. That's just not something we've seen the past couple games so far.
Yep.
But, hey, they keep running. That offensive line blocks for them like that. They'll be all right. So Stapleton's going to get it in the shotgun again here with 3 wide receivers. Pitch to Potts to the left. He's going to take it for another first down. Still on his feet. He's going to, 9 yards on the play.
So now short of the first down. Looks like Greenfield and McClain is back to their traditional game plan of feed the Hunger Boys. So Andrew Potts, heavy Andrew Potts on this drive thus far. And we'll see what Coach Tim Gossip calls up for 2nd and 1. Connor McCune run the play in there.
Ball on the 35. And again, I mean, you don't think of Andrew Potts as someone who can get that pitch and he's going to necessarily take it outside, but his speed is so deceiving. He's very, very fast, especially with that ball in his hand.
Absolutely, and if you can pick up the linebackers, that's a big boy running at a cornerback.
Absolutely. All right, Potts is going to get it again. He cuts back inside. He's going to pick up the first down and then some.
A little bit of power action there with the pulling guard. You can see who kicked off. Again, I wish we had a replay. I wish I could show you this. So you let the D tackle come deep. D tackle came deep. Our pulling guard, I think it was Cade Sponsel, came in, and you just saw that impact. Andrew Potts was patient enough, came under it, enough for the first down.
Absolutely. He's a well-seasoned running back now. He's going to see those lanes before they even form, and like you say, you got someone like Cade Sponsel coming in. He's going to –
They're just so daggone strong.
He's not going to push the lane. He's going to make the lane. So here we go. Stapleton in the backfield in the shotgun again. Receives it, pitch to Potts to the left. Good blocking again by the line, and he's going to take it close for the first down.
Trying to see, it looks like
nimble feet by Potts on that.
7 yard, 6-7 yard gain there.
Yeah. So that'll bring up about a 2nd and 4. Looks to be
it changes everything. If you can get back to that game plan and keep feeding them, keep running the ball until they can stop it, until they prove they can stop it. Now remember, they have Max Eichenberry out here on the boundary side.
And we're still waiting for that one.
So if they keep pulling out that linebacker, I'd keep running right at them.
Absolutely. Stapleton will get it back in the shotgun again. Hand off to Potts again up the middle. He's going to push. Great lane by the offensive line.
And the thing is, not only was that a great lane by the offensive line, but they got formationed out of it. So you saw Max Eichenberry in the slot, pulled out that strong side linebacker. You had 2 linebackers back there. They didn't bring down their safety. So Andrew Potts is going to take that any day. Easy carries.
Absolutely. And, last year, towards the end of the year, you heard a lot of people say, next year's offensive line is going to be one of the best we've ever seen. And I'm kind of let's wait until we see it kind of guy. And
so far, they have not disappointed.
They have not disappointed. So Stapleton's going to get it once again in the shotgun, hand off to Potts. Oh, and he's going to break a couple tackles, take it. He's going to pick up about 3 to 4 yards on the play.
And we have our first flag, a little bit of extracurricular afterwards.
37.
And again, you gotta hope this isn't on McClain, because this is that drive killer you've been talking about.
Got a personal foul.
And they're gonna bring it back. Personal foul on McClain.
Flag at the end of the play. Personal foul going against the offense. It's a 15-yarder.
And you can hear just the air deflate out of everything. So much positivity, and that's the discipline. I mean, my heart's starting to race. That's getting me into the coach mode. That's the discipline that we talk about. That you have to be humble enough to let the play end when the play ends.
All right, so that will make it 2nd and long here. We're going to go with about 2nd and 21. Ball on the 30-yard line. Snap to Stapleton. He's going to pitch it to Potts out left. Just nothing going there. Maybe picks up a yard. It's going to be 3rd and long.
That is tough. That is very, very tough. With Drake Stapleton struggling to throw thus far, but now, I mean, you got to look at his arm. This is 4-down territory, obviously, and you're looking to pick up about half of it right here. That penalty absolutely killed them.
All right, so obvious passing situation here. Again, we're looking at about a 3rd and 17, maybe even closer to a 3rd and 20. Stapleton's going to be back by himself in the backfield. Eikenberry's out in the slot, Pinwell in motion. He's going to look immediately to Eikenberry down the middle, and attempt for Sykes. Sykes just can't pull it in. It's just a little
Zane
too high.
Trace had 6 down linemen on that play. They were coming after. They knew what was coming. They simply knew what was coming. And I would expect to see the same here. So if you're at home, try to count those D linemen that are down. This is obviously pass territory, and even if you run, if you have 6 down linemen, it makes it tough.
Absolutely, and you got to give some props to Zane Trace's defensive backfield. They've been manning up, it seems like, the whole game for the most part.
Absolutely, put them out there on islands.
Absolutely, they've held these McClain wide receivers at check for right now. All right,
so 4 down linemen, doesn't look like they're coming back to it. You have Drake Stapleton in the shotgun. Ball snapped, he drops back to pass, 51 comes loose. Gets the ball loose to Eikenberry.
And that will be intercepted by number 6, Aaron Dunn. He's going to be brought down by Eikenberry around the 13-yard line.
So Drake Stapleton was under a little bit of pressure there. He did have Eikenberry open, but if he could have aimed for that back corner, that could have been 6 for Greenfield. So it is essentially a punt. So Zane Trace is going to be taking over at the 13-yard line with about 87 yards to go.
9 minutes to go left in the second quarter. While they're transitioning here, we'd like to thank First State Bank. First State Bank has been your community bank since 1884. They presently have 13 banking center locations in Southern Ohio. Being locally owned and operated, the goal of First State Bank is to enhance community and individual financial prosperity in surrounding neighborhoods. First State Bank holds honesty, integrity, ethics, and customer service as top priorities. Give them a call.
So now that McClain, they had a sustained drive, they saw the positivity there. So now we need to see what the defense will do. So 44 gets the ball once again, and it looks like he's stopped about 2, maybe 3 yards after the run.
Looks like Cade Sponsel and Emerson Yates came in to clean up on the tackle.
Positive yardage on the play.
That will bring up a 2nd and 6 for Zane Trace. Ball's going to be on the 17-yard line.
With 2nd and 6, yeah, I mean, if you're Zane Trace, you're looking to carry this down probably close to the end of the first half, see if you can punch it in going into halftime, which would have a huge momentum swing because, remember, they could be getting the ball back after halftime.
Correctamundo. All right, so looks like, Langley is back in the game. He's going to hand it off to number 46, Connor Smith. Gains a few yards on the play. That's going to bring up a 3rd and short.
So you have Riley Hartsaw on the carry there. It's good to see that Carter Langley was able to make it back in. Kind of opens up back to the normal for what is Zane Trace because, I mean, if you're a Zane Trace listener, you want the best crew out there that you can have, and always having a junior quarterback out there never hurts.
Absolutely. And Langley, big play guy. We've seen him make 2 huge plays, so it's going to be big for Zane Trace to have him back.
Absolutely.
So 3rd and 1, big play here for the McClain defense. If they can stop them, they've got a good shot to
and
take
they
it
jump.
Again.
That is tough when you have yep. So that would be encroachment on Connor Frazier. Really wanted to get that ball. Great call there by Zane Trace. And as a coach, especially when your D tackle right over the ball is the one that jumps, that's tough. But it comes from the emotion of wanting to get after it. They knew that was a big 3rd down play.
Absolutely.
And it wasn't just Frazier. He was just the one that was over the ball. There were a handful of Greenfield McClain players that jumped there.
All right, so that will bring up a 1st and 10 for Zane Trace. Ball on the 27-yard line. And they're going to line up with a 3 wide out look here. Single back set with Barnhart in the backfield and Langley. Handoff to Barnhart. He's going to break a tackle, but he's going to make it probably about 3 yards on the play.
Yep, makes it up to about the 30. Looks like they're signaling, so it'll be 2nd and 7. There were lanes there. I don't know if Barnhart was waiting for another one to open, but it didn't look like he hit the hole there very hard. But with his body size, it looks like he might be a very similar build as Andrew Potts, so he might be okay with these shorter runs here in the first half and get him going in the second.
Absolutely, yeah, and you said it yourself. I mean, they not only share a number, very similar body type, tree trunk legs, man, guys you don't want to be run over by.
Great-looking athletes.
All right, so 3 wide outs. Number 80, Nayland Robinson in motion here. Looks to the left. Pass caught by 24, Austin Ison. He's going to slip a defender. Outrun Sponsel. DJ Frost in pursuit, but he's just not going to get there. So number 24, Austin Ison with the score for Zane Trace. That will make your score 20-0. Zane Trace with 6:22 left to go in the second.
So once again, it's still too early to panic, but you got to see those warning lights turning on now.
Absolutely.
I'm not calling a rout or anything, but this has got to be a punch in. Just for that morale boost going into halftime. This has got to be something that ends up in a score. Because that's tough. I mean, 3 big plays, and McClain finds himself in a position they haven't been in all year, down 20, with all the momentum in Zane Trace's hands. 2 great drives going into that. One turns out to be turnover on downs. The other one ends in an interception.
And again, we really haven't seen Zane Trace sustain a long, big multi-play drive. It's just been these big plays out on the edge or, interceptions. It's just the Tigers kicking themselves in the foot, not making those tackles that they need to be making.
Yep. And
kick is up,
how many times?
No good.
How many times has Zane Trace found themselves in third down? Third down along with Greenfield with their ears pinned back, and then it's just one missed tackle, and especially if it's out in space, those missed tackles hurt a team so much more. If it's in the box, which is the 4 yards on each side of the ball, if it's in the box, you have backup there. But if you're out here on an island like the DBs have been, it takes a long time to recover from that. And as you can see right there, sometimes you don't recover at all.
Exactly. Yeah, so we'd like to, Brad, if you could, maybe let's put up another schedule just so the viewers can see some other sports here. The golf schedule coming up here. Looks like the next golf match for the girls will be at Wilmington on September 12th. The boys will also be in action that night at McClain. I would assume that might be some sort of FAC action. You'll see that their season's a little bit shorter than most. They're done by September 22nd, then they go straight into postseason stuff. So
absolutely, and that was one of the golf question was one of the Tiger trivia from last week. So I don't think it's going to be Tiger trivia this week. We got to minimize each and share the wealth to all subjects. That is Greenfield and McClain High School.
Absolutely, and rich history. So again, just prepare 6 minutes. Tiger trivia. Zane Trace once again comes out in that little okey-doke look there. And Noah Fetters is going to run back to kick.
Very pivotal moment here with 6:22 remaining, a score here.
Yeah, you got to think a big play is almost needed, if nothing else, just for the morale right now. It's definitely a little silent here right now. So DJ Frost is going to get it. If anyone can make a big play, he's got the speed, but he is going to be taken down quick by number 11. That was your backup quarterback, McCullough.
And a lot of people were going to want a horse collar because it was a very high tackle, but a horse collar has to be from behind and dragged down. So that is why there was no flag there. But, I mean, good job for DJ Frost stepping up in the hole and doing what he had to do.
All right, so Tigers will take over, ball on the 32, 1st and 10, 6 minutes and 18 seconds left to go. Eikenberry, Sykes, and McCune out wide. Split back set in the backfield with Potts and Pinwell. Stapleton will get it in the shotgun, and he's going to hand it to Caden Pinwell. He's going to rumble ahead for probably about 2 to 3 yards.
Yep, and then we have, I mean, you can see the line moving in front of him. The line's controlling the line of scrimmage. It's just on the outsides and those silly mistakes that they've made that have really hamstrung them in this first half.
Absolutely.
So I mean, looking at the keys to the game, I really do believe that they're controlling the line of scrimmage on both sides. It's just another key to the game is penalties are killing them.
Yep, absolutely. You said it in your success criteria right there, Mr. Snyder. All right, so Mr. Stapleton will get it. That's going to be a false start on Owen Sykes.
And that'll just get the receivers coach fired up.
Yes.
Because you don't tell your receivers the play. They don't really need to know the play count.
Right.
Because all they have to do is look at the ball. That's their job. They just watch the ball. They move when the ball moves. And as someone that's all the way out there, that's tough for sophomore Owen Sykes. As it moves a 2nd and 7 into a 2nd and 12.
And when you're down like this too, you know, everyone's going to get a little antsy. They want to be that guy that makes the big play, but we just got to make sure, keep it steady, and remember what we got to do for our jobs out here. So it looks like Eichenberry will be in the slot. And handoff to Potts. He's going to shake a couple. He's going to pick up about 4 to 5 yards.
Gets it back to where it was before that false start play.
It's going to bring up a 3rd and long.
And then this is tough here. And the thing is, we haven't called Max Eichenberry's name. Does Tim Gossett, the offensive coordinator, figure out a way to just get it in his hands?
Right.
I mean, it doesn't have to be a deep play. The pocket's been forming around Drake Stapleton. He's got to be shaking with these 2 interceptions, but you've got to get the ball in your playmaker's hands.
Absolutely. So you got to think he will be looking for Eichenberry here very shortly. Eichenberry's going to line up wide out. He's going to be covered by number 24, Austin Eisen here. Stapleton's going to look right. He's looking for Caden Pinwell. Great catch by Pinwell.
Great job, yep.
He's going to be tackled around. He just keeps going.
Yep,
He's going to be tackled around the 37-yard line.
And great job by Caden Penwell. Great call by Coach Gossett. Here's some of that momentum. The crowd's come to life. And Drake Stapleton's seen a completion. That's the key. He's seen a completion, and actually Max Eichenberry was wide open in the middle too. So he's now looking at his receivers. He's seeing what's ahead of him, where he wants that ball to go. He's got to make sure he stays decisive and gets the ball out of there with accuracy, but great job by Drake Stapleton there. Picking up that first down, connecting with Caden Penwell for a big gain.
An absolutely great focus by Penwell on that. He knew he was going to get smothered after he caught it. So Stapleton back in the pistol. He's going to pitch it to Penwell in the backfield. He's going to try to outrun the Zane Trace defense, but he's going to be brought down for about a 3-yard loss on the play.
And
that will bring up a 2nd and 13.
We have a down lineman.
Pitch taken off the left side, right down behind the line.
And is that Rocky Jeffers?
It looks to be Rocky Jeffers.
Rocky gets back up. That's good.
That was a scary moment there as he wasn't moving very much. I imagine he was collecting himself. You can see Megan, the trainer, sprinting out there. Very scary moment.
Absolutely. So Connor Frazier will come in to replace him on the offensive line. And Rocky, I have to give him some props. He's such a nice young man. And, you know, he's been a steady force for the offensive line for a couple years now. And this is his senior year. And it, you know, he's getting his opportunity. Couldn't happen to a better
After
kid,
this play, Nate's going to tell you about his senior circle, too.
I can do that. All right, so Stapleton back, trips wide to the right. Penwell goes in the flats. And that's going to be possible off pass interference.
It definitely looks like that could have been pass interference. Coach Penwell definitely thinks it was.
Yes.
As do a lot of people over here on the McClain side.
Well, I wouldn't argue if it was.
That was a very difficult, as we were saying. It's a difficult to be a ref.
Absolutely.
It was a difficult call there. But that was a tough one. So.
Yes. Real time is hard to judge.
So tell us a little bit about Rocky Jeffers and his senior circle.
So Rocky just comes back in, and you know I walk right beside Rocky's senior circle, and you know you could say it better than me, but offensive lineman, you know, there's a term out there for pancake. I'm going to pancake the defender, put him on the ground. You know, what better senior circle to have than Rocky Jeffers having a plate of pancakes?
Yep. He was embracing the senior year.
Absolutely. So Stapleton back to throw. He's going to be pressured quick. Breaks a couple tackles, but he is not going to get the ball off. That's going to be a short loss on the play. That's going to bring up 4th and 14.
The thing is, I mean, Zane Trace is not letting Greenfield have any time on 3rd down. I mean, that's a great coaching call by the Zane Trace Pioneers. I mean, they're seem to be very conservative in plays 1, 2, but on anything 3rd and long, they're bringing that heat, and that's the second time we've seen Drake Stapleton have no time on 3rd down. So with 3 minutes and 7 seconds left, we have Greenfield down 20-0, and they're lining up in the punt formation with Andrew Potts back. He calls for it. Lets it go. It's a low punt. It is down to the 4-yard line of Zane Trace before McClain jumps down there and stops the ball.
Punt goes off the foot of punt. Down to inside.
And that's a very, very solid punt. It couldn't happen at a better time. If they can keep Zane Trace from scoring here.
Yep.
Once again, you're
Fine.
down 3 scores, but there is always a chance to come back with this McClain team.
And knowing Coach Penwell, I mean, he's a very positive person. He would really like to make it easy on himself here with positivity going into halftime. And, I mean, it's a great field position. If they can get it quick, they have all 3 timeouts. If they can get a big stop on first down here, I wouldn't be surprised to see Coach Penwell using his timeouts to try to get the ball back with a short field.
And I would not argue that. All right, so Zane Trace will come back on the field, their own 4-yard line. They got a ways to go with 2 minutes and 44 seconds left to go in the half. They're going to bring in a tight set, 2 running backs, 1 wide out. McClain's going to pack it in a little bit as well, 15 in motion. And hand off to Barnhart on the play. He's going to pick up a good, solid amount of yardage there, probably about 6, maybe 7 on the play. So that's going to bring up a 2nd and 7, or I'm sorry, 2nd and 3. Rectamundo. Here we go. Zane Trace, similar formation. They're going to hand it off to Barnhart again. Why not? Because he's breaking tackles left and right. And he's going to run over a couple McClain defenders at the end and fall forward for another good solid gain, about maybe 15 to 20 yards on the play. And once again, hand off to number 44, Riley Hartsaw.
So Zane Trace seems to be content with running the ball with big chunks like this, though. I mean, if they can punch it in going into halftime, I mean, just continuing to hit that gas pedal.
Yeah, and really just keeping it out of the hands of the McClain offense right now is big. Just going in with that 3-score lead. All right, so Langley will be back in the shotgun. He's going to hand off again to Barnhart. Or I'm sorry, that was number 46, Connor Smith.
So now it looks like Zane Trace is the one that's controlling the line of scrimmage, and you can see that easy change in it with a Greenfield player down.
So it looks like a Greenfield player, that will be Robbie Wise. It looks
with
like
the cramp.
With the cramp, yep. I don't think a serious injury, but cramps are
they're serious when you have them.
No bueno.
They're very serious when you have them.
All right, we would like to recognize the sponsor real quick while we have a pause in the action. Stewart's Pharmacy. Are you looking for a pharmacy that does more than just hand you a prescription in a paper bag? A pharmacist who knows you and your family members on a first-name basis? A place to get personalized care from people who go the extra mile for you? Stewart's Pharmacy is your good neighbor pharmacy. They are locally owned and operated and proud to bring you tailored care to help you manage your overall wellness from head to toe. Stewart's Pharmacy, located inside of Community Markets in Greenfield, your good neighbor pharmacy.
We have First State Bank. First State Bank has been your community bank since 1884. They presently have 13 banking center locations in southern Ohio. Being locally owned and operated, the goal of First State Bank is to enhance community and individual financial prosperity in surrounding neighborhoods. The bank has the unique ability to make decisions locally and within the guidelines that benefit customer needs. First State Bank holds honesty, integrity, ethics, and customer service as their top priorities. Visit one of their branches in person or find out more at www.fsbforme.com.
And last but not least, Burger King, founded in 1954. The Burger King is the second largest fast food hamburger chain in the world, the original home of the Whopper. Their commitment to premium ingredients, recipes, and family-friendly dining experiences is what has defined the brand for more than 50 successful years. Stop on in to BK and get you a Whopper sometime. All right, back to the action here. Now I got myself thinking on food. Great. All right, here we go. Langley back to pass. He's going to fumble it. Oh, great heads-up play by Langley.
And
Number 46, Hartzall's going to take it. He's speeding down that right sideline until he's brought down by McClain defender. That's going to be a first down with less than a minute to go in the half.
When that ball hits the ground, everyone's eyes get big. Everyone gets excited. And oftentimes, if they pick them up, those broken plays like that can turn into huge gains.
Absolutely.
Because everyone loses their responsibilities and goes after the ball. So that's kind of what you saw there. Zane Trace was able to pick it up, get that pitch out, and everyone was already out of position if you're for Greenfield, and they turned it into another 15, 20-yard gain.
Absolutely. You know, as a defender, you're taught to see ball, get ball. When that ball's on the ground, it looks awfully enticing. So it's hard to control that. Here we go. Zane Trace, first down. On the 38-yard line, 58 seconds to go. We got big number 80, Nayland Robinson in motion.
Little throwback
looks
action
to number 8, Jamison Hill. Number 6, Aaron Dunn.
So it looks like Zane Trace is going to use their second timeout of the half. They're cruising. If you are Greenfield McClain, you are you're trying to think, how do we stop them from getting in the end zone here with 49 seconds left? Who do we put in there that gives us that edge? Because it's totally shifted. It has absolutely shifted to where Zane Trace is controlling that line. And they've done this in 2 minutes and roughly 30 seconds, all on the ground, which is something they usually don't see this late in the second quarter.
Right.
But right now, Zane Trace is hungry.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, props to the Zane Trace coaching staff. They're led by head coach Heath Hinton. I believe, is Ron his father?
I would
Ron
guess
Hinton?
so.
You know, he's assisting him. Ron was a football coach over at Chillicothe for a long time.
Great football coach.
Absolutely. So, you know, they are very well coached, and right now they're controlling not only the edges like they have all game, they're starting to kind of control the trenches a little bit more.
Yep, controlling what they have to control. They've gotten rid of those penalties that they had. So if you're Greenfield, you got to hang on for 49 seconds, get it into halftime, and figure out how to fix these holes that are appearing.
Yes, sir. So Langley will be back in the shotgun with Barnhart. Or I'm sorry, no. I always get him and Connor Smith mixed up. Connor Smith in the backfield. Okay, pitch to Smith. He's got
halfback pass.
Halfback pass. Good play by Max Eichenberry coming out of his safety position to break up that potential big play by Zane Trace.
Max Eichenberry covered a lot of ground there to save a touchdown. So halfback pass from Zane Trace, a little trickery, a little trick action, stops the clock. So now it's 3rd and 6 with 43 seconds left. Zane Trace leading 20-0. Zane Trace has 1 timeout left. So they could run it if they think Greenfield's in pass coverage. See if they can get their big boy Barnhart running the ball, pick up yards here, use that timeout how they see fit.
And that's one of the hardest things to do as a safety is, you know, the ball gets to the halfback. You want to go up there and make the tackle just like the linebackers, but good discipline there by Eichenberry. 41's going to get it. Looks to be Hartzall. And he's going to be brought down by number 14, Medley.
And the play's coming in quick from the sideline, so Zane Trace is right back on the ball.
Langley waits for his receivers to get set up. He's going to hand the ball off again to Hartzall. And he's going to break a couple tackles, maybe pick up about 5 to 6 on the play, maybe more. Again, we got 27 seconds left to go in the half. And Zane Trace is they're there. They're almost going to score again. So.
Yep, and the ball's on the 10-yard line, 27 seconds to hang on. If you're McClain, you have 3 timeouts. If for some reason you come out of this and you don't like what you see, you can't take them home with you. Do what you got to do. Call a timeout. Talk about it. You need to stop the ball here. This is a big series of plays here in the last 27 seconds. If you're Zane Trace, I got 3 plays in right now. I got 1 to get a first down and then 2 more to punch it in because they have 27 seconds, no timeouts. So that clock's going to be running anytime there is a run or anytime there's a catch that stays in bounds. So they got to make sure that they have their ducks in a row for if they get positive yards here.
Absolutely. I mean, you said it, so I'm not going to say anything to that.
It's a tough call here what you do. I mean, Barnhart's walking out, so they might be thinking pass. If it's a pass, incomplete, stops the ball, you can talk about what you want to do. And here they come breaking the huddle. Let's see what they have.
All right, so McClain's got to make a big stand here. 2nd and 4, ball on the 10, 27 seconds left to go. Zane Trace is going to spread it out once again with, it looks like, Smith in the backfield. Langley to Smith in the flats, and 14, number Cam Medley brings up the big tackle there at the end, saves that touchdown.
Looks like he got out of bounds, though, so stops the play clock. So now with 20 seconds left, it's 1st and goal. Zane Trace comes out under center
And
with
they're not wasting any
big
more
bruisers
time
in the
again.
backfield.
Barnhart at fullback. Give to Smith. He's going to be stuffed.
And they're going to call it short. So it is 2nd down now with the play clock running. They have 12 down to 10.
Got to think they'll spike it here.
Yep, so that they can get what they need to do. 3 seconds.
Oh, and he's just going to take it. And big
Touchdown going into halftime.
Touchdown by Langley, quarterback keeper on the play, and he is going to make the score 26-0. Zane Trace, man.
So now, as time expires, McClain's got to stop him here. Looks like they're running that muddle huddle, so they are. Oh nope, looks like they're lining up for 2.
Yep, they're going to try to get that missed extra point back. So Langley's going to be back in the shotgun with Barnhart in the backfield with him. Once again, spreading the field. They have dominated with this formation, especially on this last drive. So another motion here, little jet action possible. Nope. Okay, so he's going to roll out to the left. He's looking in the flats. Looked for number 6, Aaron Dunn on the play, but nothing going there. And that will end your half. Zane Trace, 26. McClain, 0 at halftime. Before we get to Tiger Trivia, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to just give a quick recap here. Mr. Snyder, if you wouldn't mind just giving us a quick one, we'll get to it.
It's a tale of drives, really. McClain started off with a fantastic drive to open the first quarter. Ended up on turnover on downs, and then it just kind of it was big plays for Zane Trace from there until that last sustained drive with 2 minutes 30 seconds left. So it was tough for Greenfield here. They came out. They showed 26 points is a big deficit at halftime. You can't get around that. The penalty, the personal foul penalty, we're not sure who that was on, but that killed that drive. That was an essential drive. It's got to be addressed. I mean, my coaching heart was coming into play there. I was about to start yelling at people at home. That was a drive killer and a game killer at this point, because they're knocking, they're showing that they can run with them, and now it goes to 2nd and whatever it was, 10 or 2nd and 20. Which absolutely killed them.
It was 2nd and 20 at that point.
So if you're Keith Penwell, you go in there, you talk to your coaches, you shore up what you can shore up. You've got to play this game, and the thing is, they still have the ability to do it. But coming out here, you cannot come out flat. So you've got to be ready to go.
Absolutely, and with that, we will get to the Zane Trace marching band here, but we would like to go ahead and. We would like to go ahead and get to some Tiger trivia real quick. So, Brad, and warning, before Brad puts the question up on the screen here, this, again, is a Greenfield history question. This is not a typical McClain sports question. So put your history hats on here, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if this is going to be too easy or not. I think it probably will be. Be ready to comment in the comment section your answer to this question, because I could see some people firing off the answer pretty quick on this one. So without further ado, Brad, would you put the question up? All right, so Tiger trivia question for the night. Who owned the only automobile manufacturer in Greenfield in which buses were manufactured? Okay, so all you need to do is drop the name of the person who owned this company, and this was a while back. All you got to do is name that person in the comments. And first one to do it will get a prize, and this the sponsor tonight is by our boy Neil Decker at Legends Barbershop. You can get a free haircut by none other than Neil Decker.
And this is this bus company, manufacturing company, was absolutely huge. It was actually one of the largest in the country at the time. And if you were we do need a first
and
name.
last name. Yep,
first and last name. So if you're in my class and you're listening, we talked about this on Thursday.
Oh, man, pressure's on.
So
pressure's on, kiddos.
I was ready. I was ready to go.
Yep, fantastic. So, again, first and last name, please. First one to get it will get a free haircut by Neil at Legends Barbershop. We want to thank Neil. He's done a fantastic job with the barbershop since he opened in early January of this year. So, again, we will announce the winner between the third and fourth quarters. Answer away, guys, and put your history caps on and enjoy. We're going to come back in, I don't know, probably about 10 minutes or so, Mr. Snyder.
Works
We'll be
for me.
back. All right.
Up next is a wild jazz piece called Voodoo by the Dirty Dozen Brass Band. And our final song tonight is Fever. It was first released by Little Willie John in 1956 and continues to gain popularity as it's been covered by Peggy Lee,
Presley, Madonna, Michael Bublé, Beyonce, and hundreds of other artists. It's become one of the most well-known jazz pieces of all time, and this arrangement features solos on trombone, tuba, color guard, all performed by Connor Hill, Zeke Smith, and color guard captain Michaela Rutherford.
begin.
Trace Marching Pioneers. Ladies and gentlemen, we proudly present the pride of Highland County, the McClain Marching Tigers and Tigerettes. The band is under the direction of Rick Duffus, assisted by Skylar Mag and David Weeks. The Tigerettes are advised by Toddy Weeks, and our majorette advisor is Fiona Gilbert. The majorette captain is Skylar Mazo. Our Tigerette captain is Rochelle Priest. Co-captains Abby Mustard and Vivian Dennis. The assistant field commander is Emily Howard, and our 2022 field commander is Ava Calhoun. Turn on Spotify, and you're sure to hear from these artists. We kick things off with a trip across the pond to listen to the smooth sound of Harry Styles. From his second studio album, Fine Line, here is Adore You. Next, we hand the field over to our Tigerettes as they strut their stuff to an upbeat, modern pop #1, topping the charts and winning iHeartRadio's TikTok Bop of the Year. Here is Olivia Rodrigo's Good For You. finish off the evening with a dance chart that combines a Euro pop beat with the unmistakable vocals of pop goddess Dua Lipa. This 2020 Song of the Summer is easy to get down to. Here is Break My Heart. Ladies and gentlemen, the pride of Highland County, your McClain Marching Tigers and Tigerettes.
All right, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Great job by both bands, McClain and Zane Trace. Big props goes out again to all the directors and coordinators for them. And also, I do want to give, once again, a big shout-out to Vanessa Pinwell with the cheerleading squad. She always does a great job with that squad. So before we get back to the game action, we would like to just kind of talk about some other sports here, starting with volleyball. It was kind of a tough week for the Lady Tigers on the volleyball court. They hosted Western Brown on Monday. The Broncos won in straight sets. They traveled to Miami Trace on Tuesday and fell in 3 sets, so tough loss there. On Thursday, they were home and welcomed in the Lady Cavs of Chillicothe. The night didn't go as planned, as they fell in 4 sets, 1-3. So the volleyball team will be in action at the Lady Sherman Volleyball Invite hosted by Uniota this Saturday. So tomorrow they will get their matches started against the host team at 9 a.m. sharp. And on the golf end of things here, for the boys hosted the FAC meet yesterday evening. Excuse me. One of many FAC meets to my understanding. The Tigers took 6 with a total score of 201. Individual scoring for McClain went as Robbie Wise of 49, David Edwards of 40, Leland Uri of 51, Jeremy Webb 61, and Paul Royce a 68. For girls golf, on Monday they had FAC match number 4 at Hillsboro. It was postponed to September 15th due to the rain. Then McClain hosted a FAC girls golf match on Wednesday at Buckeye Hills Country Club. The Chillicothe girls team won the match with a score of 181, which is a fantastic team score. Aubrey Arnold of Jackson was the individual medalist, shooting a stunning 36. That's a fantastic score as well. I wish I could do that. Chillicothe, again, 181 score. They are 20-0 in FAC play so far. Jackson is behind them by about 24 strokes here, 205. They are 16-4 in the FAC. McClain shot a 218. They are 10-10 in the FAC. Miami Trace a 241, and Hillsboro a 243, and Washington Courthouse rounds them out with a score of combined 268. Scoring on the night for the Tigers was Abby Lovett with a 64, Carrie Ann Todd 56, Jacqueline Bolander 54, Kate Barrett 61, Kaylin Sterling 51, and Mackenzie Corbin 57. For cross country, the high school Lady Tigers finished 4th overall at the McClain Invite meet last Saturday. The boys team ended up with an 8th place finish. Top 7 finishes for the Lady Tigers: Brooke Baldwin at 24.57, Sierra Barton 25.56, Katrina Sturgeon 26.51, Liv Stegbauer 27.05, Laura Barber 27.48, Haley LeGee 30.03, and Alara Clyburn at 31.23. For the boys, Eli Bogard rounded them out at first with a 22.53, Nicholas Alvarez at a 23.13, Max Colburn 24.20, Nathan Alvarez 27.21, Jesse Van Hoos 27.35, and Gavin McCoon 30.38. That just hurts me reading that as they're running 3.1 miles for those races, and it should hurt you too.
Yes, absolutely.
Mr. Snyder's just sweating.
I know. It's not because it's hot up here. It's because I'm just imagining having to run 3.1 miles. I always tell my students who are cross-country runners, God bless you, because I hate running, and that's why I don't do it. So
you are an avid rower.
Yes,
from what we know, though.
Well, if I ever get a row machine. So
I know a guy.
So yeah, that's kind of how it is right now. We're kind of waiting for this first half. We got about 10 seconds left before we start. This coming
Things
out.
to expect.
Yeah, coming out here.
Tell me.
They have to fix something. And the thing is, it's hard to really pinpoint what they have to fix, because 90% of the time outside that last drive, things are going well for the Greenfield McClain Tigers. But at 10%, you got to fix that. So it's not panic time, but it's pretty darn close.
And once again, we're seeing some uncharacteristic mistakes from the McClain defense. We've seen a good job of them containing big plays for the last couple games, and they just haven't done that yet tonight. So hopefully that will be a different story here in the second half as we kick off coverage here.
Absolutely. So Emerson Yates is out for the first time to kick it here. It looks like they have different levels covered here for Zane Trace as they prepare for Emerson Yates to kick it.
Aaron Dunn and Drew Lane.
It is getting a little difficult to read the numbers up here. So last week, Greenfield did a little bit of onside, a little bit of squib kicking, and I would imagine we're going to see much of the same here.
All right, so Emerson Yates teeing off from the 40-yard line. Maybe he can put this one in the end zone like he did that soccer punch the other night. So here we go. He's going to squib it, though.
That's
going to
a
come
tough
off a
one.
Zane Trace player. But heads-up play by another Zane Trace player there to recover.
That was a very good kick by Emerson Yates, kept it low. Had that been able to bounce one more time, it would have bounced high, and then it would have been a 50-50 ball for whoever gets it. So McClain is coming out of here at halftime, defending on the Zane Trace 39-yard line. We'll see what Coach Penwell has changed up, if he gets a little more aggressive with the run. Outside of the last drive, Greenfield did a very good job controlling the line of scrimmage. So if Greenfield's going to want to see any success this second half, they have to regain control of those 2 yard or yard on either side of the ball.
Absolutely. So Zane Trace will come back, and looks like Langley will be in the shotgun. He's going to hand off to Barnhart. He trucks ahead for about 3 to 4 yards here before being stopped by a gang of McClain defenders.
So it looks like Zane Trace is going to go right back to the run to start off with here. And if I was them, I wouldn't change a single thing. They drove the whole length of the field. Remember, that started on the 4-yard line.
With a little over 2.5 minutes to go.
And they did it by their run. So, and they punched it in with 0 seconds left. So we'll see if McClain can make amends for that and start stopping the run here.
Absolutely. So Zane Trace will come back out. They're going to spread it out a little bit more on this play. Barnhart still in the backfield. Duo out wide. Langley hands to Barnhart. He's going to maybe pick up a yard, but probably not even that there. Good stuff there by the McClain defense, number 51, Cade Sponsel.
And if you watch the Zane Trace line there, they're moving off of their initial blocks trying to get to that second level. That tells you that they feel Barnhart swarming up enough to where they need to start looking to the next level of blocking. But, I mean, Greenfield does have a solid D-line, and you got to make sure that you stop them if you're Zane Trace, because people like Cade Sponsel, Andrew Potts, Caden Penwell will come up and make big plays.
Absolutely. All right. Once again, same formation we saw earlier from Zane Trace in the shotgun. Looks like Robinson out in motion. Langley's going to get it, pitch to Barnhart. He's got some room here. He's going to pick up the first down and then some. He's going to outrun the McClain defense. DJ Frost, the man to beat. He's going to take it in. Nope, no, just kidding. He's going to go out about the 7-yard line. DJ Frost coming out of nowhere, pushing him out at the last second.
That's a senior making a senior play, just too far down the field. So Zane Trace will have, it looks like, 1st and goal from the 6.
And, not what you want to see from the McClain standpoint here. We know we needed to stop coming right out of the blocks here, and this is just not where you want to be at, obviously.
Again, 3rd down play. Barnhart with the ball.
There. He's going to be brought down by Andrew Potts and looks
gain
to
of
be
1.
Jaden Allison.
Gain of 1 there. So, I mean, the thing is they got to get it in the end zone. I mean, if your defense can pull 4 stops here on the 5, you stopped them. So that's what Greenfield's got to do. They can either pack it in here, and then we will see you next week, or they can continue to fight, which sets a tempo for the rest of the year.
Absolutely.
Big plays have absolutely killed this Greenfield defense tonight, though.
And again, it's just so uncharacteristic of what we saw last week.
And the week before.
And the week before. The containment factor was there. The big plays were being made by the McClain defense. Pitch to number 4, Blake Phillips. He's going to take it in for the score.
And if we had the ability to rewind and replay, the D end on that side lost contained.
Don't tempt Bradley. He's over here.
We got Bradley is, and we call him Bradley. When Nate wants to go more formal, he's Bradley tonight. But the D end there lost contained, and that's how they're able to almost nearly walk right in to that far pylon there. So if you're a D end, you got to keep that contained. Keep one hand punching, one hand free.
Right, and that will make the score 32-0 Zane Trace. And Big Noah Fetters back to kick the extra point. All right, so snap to Langley, and a flag is going to be thrown. Possible false start, and yes, it is. It's going to come back 5 yards. And it's just a shame because it's like you said, kind of towards the end of the half last quarter, we just haven't been able to get a hold of Max Eichenberry and to kind of see where he can kind of take us here. And you got to be thinking that's got to be on the minds of the offensive coordinators here.
Yep, and the thing is, I mean, McClain's had sustained drives, good drives, But the thing is, you can have 500 yards of offense, and if you don't punch it in, you still lose. I mean, you got to score in the end.
Right.
So Zane Trace has got to back up to a little bit further. They're going to try the field goal from here. The kick is up. A good kick, and it is through the middle of the uprights. So Zane Trace will take a 33-0 lead.
All right, so 9:37 left to go in the third quarter. Once again, we do have a winner in Tiger Trivia, but we will go ahead and just announce that in between the third and fourth quarter, so stick around. We're making you watch this game, so stick around.
That is about as poor of a start to the second half as McClain could hope for. They need success here. That's what it's going to come down to. They're going to need success on this drive. If they're going to build on anything.
And you know, again, that drive it took, what, 2.5 minutes?
Yeah.
It really didn't take a long period of time for Zane Trace to march down the field and to gain that last score. All right, so the trickeration once again by the Zane Trace kickoff team.
Yep, do the same thing every time, no matter what the score is. Had to wait for the whistle from the umpires. We do now have a running clock, so as long as the score remains, I think it's 30+, there will be a running clock here in the second half. So if McClain wants to stop it and have a shot, they have got to get something here. Any points will bring it down to, well, I guess they need to score a touchdown to stop the clock.
Right. Eikenberry and Cummins back to receive for McClain. And the ball will bounce to Eikenberry. He's going to bobble it around for a second. He's going to take it, and about 8 yards on the return for Eikenberry.
So Greenfield's offense will be taken over here at the 25-yard line.
And once again, you got to think, offensive line still has not played a bad game so far today. Maybe a couple pressures here and there, but really not too bad by the offensive line once again. Got to think they're going to be leaning on him. Maybe you started off with Potts or Penwell running here, and then kind of formulate that pass option game.
And there's really not too much clock management with the running clock.
Right. So, yeah, you got to think they'll maybe push the ball up a little bit quicker than they normally do here. Potts is going to get stuffed after about 3 to 4 yards.
Still running hard, still making it so that they can't take him down. So kudos to him for the competitive spirit. So it looks like it was a gain of 3, so 2nd and 7 coming in here.
All right, McClain breaks that huddle fairly quick here. It's going to be 4 wideouts with Potts in the backfield along with Stapleton. Stapleton is going to receive it in the shotgun. He's going to look right quick. That's going to go to Owen Sykes. He's going to be brought down for about 5 to 6 yard gain on the play.
Right close to the line to gain, so it'll be 3rd and a short one, but it looks like McClain is once again moving the ball. Now they got to pick up this first down.
All right, so 3rd and short here, ball on the 34-yard line. You got to think Zane Trace, they may back off just a little bit. If McClain is going to score, they're going to make him earn it a lot here.
Yep, run plays. I mean, the clock
with
the running clock, it's on their side, so run plays. The more plays that both sides have to run, the shorter this game becomes.
Got to look for Eikenberry in the slot. They're going to shadow a safety over to him, but they're going to hand it to Potts.
Nope,
no,
Stapleton keeps it, reads it, keeps it.
And he gets gang tackled and stood up. But after the pickup of the first down.
That makes it feel, that pain of that quick little tackle makes it feel a lot better if you pick up that positive yards first down.
Absolutely. It's those negative yard plays and those gang tackles.
Those are tough.
Yep,
that's tough. 500 pounds coming down on top of you. So great read by Drake Stapleton there. Everybody was keying in on Andrew Potts, and he pulled it and got as many yards as he could possibly get. So Greenfield's coming out, breaking the huddle here. We have 2 ends to the short side of the field with a split back and a H position. Drake Stapleton drops back, throws over the middle, tries to get it to Caden Penwell, which falls incomplete. Looks like he got his legs tangled up there a little bit. So that'll be a 2nd and 10 with 6 minutes remaining here. So far, Greenfield has moved the ball 15 yards, but they've got to start picking it up. They've got to start getting plays in. I mean, the thing is that running clock it's key. I mean, this is almost like fourth down or fourth quarter where you've got to get that clock stopped. You've got to figure out how to score here quickly, get the ball back as quickly as possible. But it's getting in dire straits here for the Greenfield Tigers.
Absolutely. So trips wide out. Stapleton looks back to throw. He's going to throw just a little wide of Sykes on that go route.
And there he was feeling the pressure. He lost the presence in the pocket. Just really threw that one with his shoulder rather than stepping into it, stepping up into the pocket where he would have had a moment longer. Just launched it as hard as he could with his shoulder. Strong boy. Got it out there about 30 yards, so he's strong enough to do that.
Absolutely.
But it's not sustainable. So we're looking at 3rd and 10 here as Josiah Burchett runs the play in.
You know, you've seen parts tonight where Stapleton has been able to drop back into the pocket, and there have been just plays where he's had 2 guys coming at him like that. And so just kudos to him trying to get that off.
Absolutely. So Drake Stapleton drops back in. Quick pass to Josiah Burchett. Josiah Burchett pulls it in. It's going to be 4th and 4 for the Greenfield Tigers. There's no question here you're going for it.
Yeah, and this makes it very manageable for the Tigers. Great catch there by Burchett. Great focus, great rhythm by Stapleton.
It's good to see the senior wideout getting involved.
And Josiah Burchett, another one of those just fantastic kids. He's really fun to be around.
Very, very quick-witted, very quick off the draw when you're asked questions in class, and a very shifty athlete. Very good track hurdler, I do believe.
Yeah. All right, and in the shotgun, Stapleton will take it. He'll hand it off to Potts down the middle. Potts will get gang tackled, but he's going to pick up that first down.
That is completely Andrew Potts' will, saying this is not going to end here. So he picked up the first down. That's all you need there.
Yep.
So now they need to continue this positive momentum. Try as hard as you can to continue moving, get this clock to stop.
All right, so looks like McClain will go back here. Trips wide outs. Potts in motion in the backfield. Stapleton back to pass. He's going to go ahead and Design run there. Yep, about 2 to 3 yard gain on the play.
Now that was a little too east and west for me. If I have a designed run there, I'm telling my quarterback, plant and go. Plant and go as quick as you can. The more you stretch it out, the more that defense can recover. So it was a designed run. It was a draw. You saw him drop back for a second, put that ball up by his ear, and then he went.
All right, so Connor McCune will bring in the play for the Tigers here. Zane Trace, again, just content with letting that clock run. And they're holding the Tigers in check. Again, no big plays from Max Eichenberry so far. You got to think the Tigers are wanting to try to get that ball in his hands, though. So Stapleton will get the ball. He'll hand off to Potts. He's met the backfield very quickly, but some stiff arms get him through. May have been a horse collar. That'll be close, but he is going to go ahead and pick up the first down.
And the crazy thing is, he can do that and pull you to the side. He has got to pull you straight back down in order to get the horse collar. So that's the correct call. But I saw it too. I saw it coming. Very dangerous tackle if it is a horse collar. Really dangerous on the knees there.
Yeah, but you are correct. Yeah, it was one of those tricky calls, but the right call. All right, split backs in the backfield with Stapleton here. He's going to hand off to Hinwell, and he's just met at the line. But he's going to go ahead and pick up 3 to 4 yards on the play.
Keeps
fighting. Feet chucking.
Keeps fighting. And it looks like Michael Stevenson is down for the Tigers, so he's down at the 40-yard line. Megan, the trainer, is running out there. One of the reasons why I have these insights on many of the penpenalties that often we get angry at, yell at the TV for.
You committed a lot of them yourself.
As a coach, I would always fight with the refs, and then as per usual, they were right, I was wrong once I looked it up.
Per usual.
So I do my best out there. I get caught up in the moment, but so that's how I have a little more insight on these things.
I don't think you're ever wrong, Mr. Snyder. All right,
Thanks,
while we're having this break in the action here, let's go ahead and read off a couple sponsors, starting with Moss Barger and Smithson. 1101 Columbus Avenue in Washington Courthouse is home to Moss Barger and Smithson. Proud to be your certified public accounting service for tax prep, accounting, or financial planning. Let Mossbarger and Smithson take care of you so you can take care of those that matter most.
We have Collins Septic, proudly serving Fayette and surrounding counties with complete septic tank and restaurant grease trap cleaning. Collins Septic is ready for your call when you're backed up and the stuff hits the fan. Call them today at 740-706-8536.
I had to laugh at that one a little bit. Stuff hits the fan. All right, Southern Hills Community Bank, located in the heart of Greenfield. Southern Hills is truly a community-minded bank. Whether for personal or business banking needs, SHCB does it all. With locations across Southern Ohio, you're bound to find a friendly face that can help with your financial needs. Southern Hills Community Bank, ladies and gentlemen. Drake Stapleton back in the shotgun. 2 wideouts, 2 running backs in the backfield split. Stapleton back to pass. He looks, he had Eikenberry on the slant, but he thought he could kind of get Sykes on that little seam route there.
Skinny post right there.
Skinny post. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Just couldn't quite connect there.
Yep, and, I mean, the pass was just leading him a little bit, but he had Sykes. Sykes, I always say, if you're even, they're leaving. So he threw it at the right time, just threw it a little bit ahead of him. So Sykes did have the break, but didn't quite work out.
All right, so the Tigers will break the huddle once again. 1:30 left running in the third quarter. Your score 33-0. Stapleton gets it in the shotgun. Looks right immediately. He's going to be picked off by number 6, Aiden Dunn. Drake might run him down, and he is going to. Great hustle there by Stapleton. Great play there by Aaron Dunn, number 6 for Zane Trace, as he takes it back for roughly a 60-yard return.
And that's tough there. You're looking for the star receiver, and you throw it, and the DB just jumps the route. That's tough on slants. If you don't throw it out of the break, or if the receiver doesn't put his head down and get that DB backpedaling, it's a risky throw, and that was a long slant right there.
Absolutely, and on those design passes there, your mind's pretty well made up. You see something before the snap, and you're going to go with it. So it's one of those things you want to get it into Eikenberry's hands, but it's a forced pass, and that's sometimes the result. So
and you got to think that teams are going to be scheming to keep the ball out of Eikenberry's hands. You can see what it did here to the Tigers in this game without having that big, deep threat capability. Eikenberry has really, really struggled to be part of this game in any sense on the offensive side.
All right, so it looks like Zane Trace will line up in the big formation again. Langley play action to number 4, and they're going to call that out of bounds. Number 4, Blake Phillips.
Which is a bit of a break because it looks like the Tigers were biting on that play action. And if that ball was on, that one would probably been 6. And
really not a bad ball thrown by Langley there, just a little out of bounds. Yep. Great rhythm there by both Pioneers. You can tell they've been coached up really well in that short little passing game.
And that's a tough throw at any level. I mean, tomorrow when we're watching college football, that's a tough throw for college level.
Absolutely. And by the way, I can't wait for college football. Tomorrow, a little Buckeye action going on.
Go Bucks.
Absolutely. Langley will be under center this time, split backs in the back. And that will be a no play. We're going to go ahead and end the third quarter. Your score at the end of 3, Zane Trace 33, McClain 0 going into the fourth. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So with Tiger Trivia, we had a little history question that we kind of spouted off at you. Who owned the only automobile manufacturer in Greenfield, and which buses were manufactured? And again, I thought maybe this would be a pretty easy question, and it seemed very quickly like it was because we had a lot of people comment. A lot of people commented the correct one. We just needed the first and last name, and the first one to do that was Jennifer Hester. She answered C.R. Patterson correctly. So once again, Jennifer Hester is our Tiger Trivia winner for this evening. So congratulations, Jennifer. If you would like to receive your free haircut from Neil, or know someone who needs a free haircut from Neil Decker at Legends Barbershop, please go ahead and shoot us a direct message at the McClain Athletic Department Facebook page and just let us know that you would like to receive that prize, and we will get that to you. And well, I'll just say we'll get it to you lickety-split. How about that? So once again, Jennifer Hester, congratulations with the correct answer of C.R. Patterson.
So as we move here into the start of the fourth quarter with 12 minutes remaining, Zane Trace is looking at the ball on the 8-yard line, looking to punch it in, make this even more lopsided of a game.
All right, so Zane Trace will line up. Again, 2 wideouts to the left. I apologize about the camera here. Hopefully we'll get that. Yep, we do. Okay, potentially really, really bad play there by Zane Trace, but they do recover.
So they were using that shovel pass. So with that pass, even though it looks like a handoff, it is released from the quarterback's hands. So even if a fumble occurs, it is an incomplete pass as the official is signaling over to us right now.
All right, so that will bring up a 3rd and 8 with the ball on the 8, so 3rd and goal. And the clock will go ahead and continue to run there. And Langley looks like he's going to trot in and bring in the play for the Pioneers. Tigers are ready to defend. This is a big play here, obviously. We've said that for the past few possessions here, but
yeah, now you're just looking to get momentum.
Got to think this might be the backbreaker here if they do score. Time will not be on the Tigers' side. They're looking to the right, and that is going to be a score from Langley to number 15, Drew Lane, for the Zane Trace Pioneers. That will make your score 39-0. Zane Trace up.
So now you're looking, if you're McClain, you're looking for positivity. We'll probably start seeing the JV start working their ways in, getting in the second team players that really don't get too much time on Friday nights. But the thing is, where do you build, or what do you build on as a coach in this situation?
Well, I mean, you said it. You get some of your younger players in if you can. You try to go and move on to next week. Obviously, you play out the rest of the game, right? But, you know, with it being 39-0 running clock, it's going to be very, very tough for the Tigers, obviously. So maybe get some of those younger players in, get some experience, and go from there. Langley will hold. Betters to kick, and he is going to go ahead and put that in for another point. That will make your score 40-0. The Pioneers up.
So with 10:48 remaining, we got, I'm just curious to see if we're going to be seeing backup quarterbacks or if Drake Stapleton will be taking the helm once again when the Tigers come out on offense.
All right, and while we have a little bit of a lull in the action, we'd like to go ahead and recognize our sponsors yet again. Southern Hills, the Rusty Keg. If you need a hot meal or a cold drink, the Rusty Keg is the place to stop. Their menu boasts plenty of options that are sure to satisfy your taste buds and quench whatever you may be thirsting for. Stop in during the week or after the game to the Rusty Keg in Washington Courthouse. And I will back that up by saying they have great chicken fingers.
They have great everything there. I absolutely love the Rusty Keg. We have Sims Family Golf Center. Whether you just want to hit a bucket or take your game to the next level, Sims Family Golf Center can help make it happen. Stop out to their facility on Hall Road to work on your putting, short game, or even swing the big stick. LPGA pro Shannon Sims can even give you a lesson to get your shooting lower and enjoying the game for years to come. Fayette Eye Care. At Fayette Eye Care, they pride themselves on providing the highest quality of eye care and vision care, or eye health and vision care in both service and products, and producing educated, loyal, confident patients. They do this with an organized, dedicated, and caring team of service providers ready to serve you. Dr. McDonald and Dr. Hammond are both local and offer services for comprehensive exams to common eye conditions, including glaucoma, macular degeneration, diabetic retinopathy, and cataracts. Visit them today to start.
You butchered that, dude.
I'm sorry.
Retinopathy, man. We're all laughing at you up here. Retinopathy, everybody. All right, here we go. Kick is up. It goes to Max Eichenberry. Just stop talking. All right, he'll take it back here, and he's going to get it back to about the 26-yard line.
They had all night to get ready for that, all right?
That's right.
I did not. I was reading that on the moment.
You did semi-okay. All right.
Yeah, I'll take that.
So the Tigers will take over on the 26-yard line. 1st and 10 with a little under 10 minutes to go in the game now.
Drake Stapleton looks like he's getting the play call in from Coach Hurt, who is talking to Coach Gossett up here above us on the booth. So we'll see Drake Stapleton once again running the helm.
And they're gonna go ahead and put their starters back out. They think some more work can be done and some more lessons learned throughout this.
What can you do
game.
to take this bitter taste out of your mouth?
Absolutely,
is what you're looking for.
Absolutely. Who's going to step up when it's dire? Eikenberry will be in the slot, but a handoff to Potts. He's going to rumble ahead for 2, maybe 3 yards. Looks like more 2-yard territory. And again, we just haven't seen those big plays, right? We've had a few runs from Potts where he's rumbled ahead for 15, 20 yards, but just not as many as what we've seen last week. And again, it goes back to Zane Trace has pulled those big plays out, and McClain just has not gotten a chance to do that.
Yep, and I mean, a couple big plays here, a couple big plays there, and this game's competitive. I mean, I think it totally changes the game around. But momentum's about 50-50 right now. It's 10,000% in Zane Trace's favor.
All right, so Caden Pinwell will pick up about 1 yard on the run. That'll make it about 3rd and 7. Ball on the 28-yard line.
So I'm curious if Coach Gossett going to be looking to go to the air here. Do you go back to the air and possibly have another interception, which would just shatter the confidence of Drake Stapleton? If I'm coaching, I try to find an easy route to pick up half of this, get that confidence back in him.
Absolutely, yeah. He needs a little bit of confidence booster right now. I don't think that would hurt. So he's going to drop back pass, quick slant to Max Eikenberry. Eikenberry does a good job getting past the sticks. That's going to be a first down for the Tigers. Gain of 13.
Eikenberry with the reception. The chains.
And again, just little simple plays like that, working on the rhythm. If not for anything, just working on it for the next game coming up.
And right now, I mean,
season is still short.
Zane Trace is playing very deep in their coverage, keeping everything in front of them. So those under routes will be open a lot more here at this point in the game, as Zane Trace is just kind of not in a prevent defense right now, but they're just keeping everything in front of them.
All right, so Stapleton back, and he will hand off to Caden Pinwell. He'll pick up about 2 to 3 yards on the play. That will bring up a 2nd and 7, maybe 2nd and 8.
So once again, Tigers are moving the ball. I would be interested to see how many yards of offense they've had, because they've had good drives here. It's just there's that 0 on the scoreboard that essentially says that the goal of an offense is to score. You can have as many yards as you want, but if there's still a goose egg up there, your offense has not been successful. So,
and that's the beautifully chaotic thing about football, right?
Simple but chaotic.
Simple but chaotic. All right, so McClain will go back in the split back formation. Fake to Pinwell. He's going to option it off to Potts, but there is a flag on the play. Big run by Potts here. Let's wait to see what that flag is all about, though.
And chances are that will be come back. That's either a hold or an illegal procedure.
And it looks like it will be, well, referees are going to confer here. And they're going to bring it back.
An illegal procedure. Probably not enough men on the line. I couldn't see what it was, but yeah, that's. I mean, broken record here, man.
Yeah.
Positive plays coming back.
Yep.
Positive play, come back.
And it just seems like they're just happening at the worst time for the Tigers.
I think that's the 2nd or 3rd big play that's been called back.
Yes.
And
that was a theme for last game. It's kind of been a theme this game. Not so much.
Not as bad.
But, yes, agreed.
So, I mean, it's something that every coach knows, every fan knows. As someone who's a student of the game, you know that even if you get high penalties, you can still squeak out a win. But it's not sustainable, and tonight it's really I think there's many issues that the Tigers need to look at, but I think that it's really bit them in the derriere this week.
I didn't know you knew French. Hand off to Caden Pinwell. He's going to pick up about 3 to 4 yards on the play.
Multilingual over here. So I mean there's positives to be had. The total yards will be a positive, but if that doesn't turn into points, what's the point?
Right.
Kind of a double there, but we're looking at under 6 minutes left, and they're just kind of looking to run this clock out, get as many positive yards here as possible. It looks like Zane Trace is starting to rotate their JV players in and their second-string players in to get them a little under the lights time here.
All right, so Eikenberry out wide along with McCune. And that's going to be a handoff to, it looks to be Penwell. And he's going to truck ahead for about 5 yards on the play. And that will bring up a 4th and 4.
4th and 4, and I imagine they're going to keep going for it. Try to get as much positive out of this drive as they can. A punt would feel like a defeat at this point. Try to get that goose egg off of there as much as possible.
So Josiah Burchett will bring in the play for the Tigers here. And once again, hats off to the Pioneers. We're talking about the Tigers kind of shooting themselves in the foot. Really, the Pioneers have not given the Tigers a whole lot of chances to even shoot themselves in the foot just because they've been making plays all over the field on defense.
Yeah, absolutely. This is definitely not the Tigers giving this game up. This is the Pioneers doing what they've ran their games. They've done a great job. They won this game for sure.
Absolutely. So looks like we're going to take some time for a player down on the field. Let's go back to some sponsors. So starting with Easy Oil Change. If your car or truck is nearing that time for an oil change, you can rest easy knowing that the folks at Easy Oil Change have you covered. Pull into their headquarters on Elm Street and Courthouse, and they can have you in and out quickly, conveniently, and with the peace of mind that you're getting the quality of service you deserve. You'll say, woo-wee, that was easy. Did I do that right?
You did better than I did.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty smooth.
With my last one. So VFW Post 4736. Post 4736 has made contributions to the welfare of our nation and its disabled veterans during 50 years of dedication to the high ideals of veterans of foreign wars. Post 4736 is proud to serve veterans and the community since 1963.
Yes, thank you to the VFW. All right, and looks like we do have some more sponsors. We don't have the description to go with them, but we'll go ahead and also name them as well, as we are very thankful for their sponsorship. Starting with Sitterly Insurance, Community Savings Bank, Fayette Carpet, McCarty and Associates, Jim Van Dyke's Automotive, Quality Paving, Clearview Customs, Hobart, Detelian Landscaping, and Southern State Community College. And we do want to mention Southern State does sponsor the halftime show here. We want to thank them for that.
Great community college here in the area. So it looks like Dylan Hines is being carried off by his teammates. Hopefully that is a quick recovery for him, and wishing him the best.
Absolutely.
So as the timeout was going on, if you were watching your screen, you could see that Greenfield did sub in a lot of their secondary players, and Drake Stapleton and your Max Eikenberrys, Andrew Potts are taking a rest over there on the benches, kind of calling it a night. So we'll see what Coach Penwell does with these players.
And once again, you hate to see the outcome like this for those first stringers, but at the same time, you got to look at this as a silver lining. Some of these guys who will never otherwise see the field are now seeing the field, getting to experience the Friday night lights. So
yep.
If there is a silver lining, that is it.
And there are a couple of quite a few players out there that are, at least Owen Sykes I see out there that sees plenty of field time on Friday nights, kind of make sure that everybody gets lined up in the right spots, I would say.
Right. And Owen is just a sophomore, but his leadership out there is really important. Okay, so handoff to number 20. Looks like Silas Stewart, sophomore for Zane Trace. Zane Trace is also going to have some of their second stringers in as well.
And to speak a little bit to Owen Sykes is a player I had as a freshman basketball player, crazy good athlete. And this year I kind of filled in for a couple weeks for the interim head coach at the varsity basketball level. He played some summer league, and he expects big things out of him in the next season as well.
That's fantastic to hear. He is a very good athlete, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing him on the basketball court especially. All right, handoff to number 34.
Owen Sykes
Troy
with the big
Fall.
hit coming up there.
Wow, and he really pushed 34, Troy Fowl, back couple yards there.
Owen Sykes says, I'm not done tonight. We're still playing football.
Absolutely.
And
Get yours, young man.
Yep, and good for him. I mean, as long as the clock's still running and they're still running at you, you're more than welcome to make big hits just like that.
All right, so that will now bring up a 3rd and 2. Ball on the 38-yard line. Zane Trace is going to run up to the line quickly here. Backup quarterback in. Gunnar McCullough did a good job filling in for Langley early in the game. Split backs in the backfield here. And that's going to be, looks like encroachment. Yep, encroachment on McClain, number 76.
76, that would be Blake Shrout.
And again, young players seeing the field for the first time this season.
Yep.
Friday Night Lights, that will happen.
Yep. Get excited. And again, it goes to that D-line. I mean, that's a coachable moment, though, when he comes over to the side, talk to him about, all you got to do is watch the ball, man. And I know that as coaches we say that, but then as players it's a lot more difficult than just how you say it.
Yes, absolutely. All right, so McCullough will be back under center again this time, split backs in the backfield. He will hand off again to number 34, Troy Fall. He's going to get ahead for about 6 to 7 yards on the play, and that will bring up a 2nd and 4.
Clock continues to run. We're now down to 2 minutes left as Zane Trace is looking to punch it in again. They have the ball on the 26-yard line. They just keep running it, pounding it.
Run this time by Stewart. Out of bounds. He will make the line to gain. Moves the chains.
So first down for Zane Trace here as they move forward. And it's down to minute 30. McClain's still making the plays they need to make. To keep them out of the end zone. We have a flag. Looks like false start on Zane Trace.
And that will stop the clock here. And clock does restart once the ref blows his whistle. All right, so Mr. Snyder, we talked about, what are some things we expect for the next game, but maybe we can elaborate on that. What changes can we see them improve upon, work on over the course of the next week?
I think changes is a dangerous word. I think that you want to shore things up. So as we get into football season, as we get to watching our professional and college teams, we want to change everything up. You got to get really good at what you do. And if you can do that, it's very difficult to stop you. Tonight they got away from their game. No breaks went their way at all. 0 breaks went their way. You've got to figure out how to minimize those penalties, how to keep positive momentum when you have positive momentum, and minimize the big plays. That's what it's going to come down to.
Right, absolutely. And once again, the Pioneers are just going to take a knee to end the game in the victory formation. That will leave us with a final score of Zane Trace 40, McClain 0. And once again, hats off to the Pioneers. They did a lot of great things this game. They controlled the outsides, the exteriors very well in the beginning of the game, and it just naturally kind of lended itself to controlling the lines kind of towards the end of the second quarter and in the second half. And it just kind of, you could just kind of see it coming. It just that progression where everything was just coming together for the Pioneers and just nothing was going the Tigers' way. Even when things were going the Tigers' way, again, big penalties set them back.
Yeah.
And again, you hate to see that, but like you said, it's one of those things you got to shore up. It's a learning moment, and we'll see what we can do next week.
Yes, absolutely. It's tough. And the thing is, you got to turn the page. This is done. As you see, the two teams shake hands, and then they will move into singing the alma mater to our home stands here.
Absolutely. We'll give some final thoughts here, but we'll go ahead and lend it over to the McClain alma mater playing, and I think the band probably has a song or two, but we'll give some final thoughts and some farewells after this. So we're going to tune out for just a few minutes here.
Marching Tigers and Tigerettes will have a post-game performance in just a few moments. While they prepare for that, we have a few scores updated from around the area. In the fourth quarter, Hillsborough 41, East Clinton 20. Reported score in the third quarter, Tri-Valley 7, Jackson nothing. In the fourth, Westerville North with a lead over Chillicothe, 17-7. Uniota and Waverly also in the fourth quarter. Uniota 26, Waverly 27. Miami Trace trails against Logan Elm 35-10. That game in the third quarter. Washington and Paint Valley go final. Washington with a 48-0 victory. The opponent for the Pioneers next week, Piketon, trails in the third quarter 21-14 against Lucasville Valley.
Well, and we'll go ahead and give some final thoughts, and then we'll leave you guys with the band tonight. So, Mr. Snyder, just overall game analysis, maybe some highlights of the game or lowlights, just final analysis here.
Well, I'll give this game 100% to Zane Trace.
Yep, absolutely.
They, after some success on the ground from McClain, they took control of this, and they owned it. They owned every aspect of this game. They became the more physical team. They kept the ball out of the playmakers' hands of McClain. It's a tough outing for the McClain Tigers as they fall 40-0 to Zane Trace. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, about the same. I mean, what else can you say? It's one of those moments if you let it define you, then you're not learning, you're not moving forward. I think, again, I'm a silver lining guy. I think you have to look at some of the silver linings tonight. Some guys got in at the field that normally wouldn't get to play. There were still some players that had some decent games. We just couldn't finish like we have the last couple of games. Just couldn't get those big plays either on offense or defense. The lines have controlled the last couple games. We just didn't see that dominating factor like we saw. Just one of those things, move on next week for East Clinton, and we'll see where that takes us. Once again, before we leave you guys off on the band, we do want to just say a big thank you again to Mr. David Weeks, Drew Hamilton, you, Mr. Snyder, and, of course, our boy, Bradley Rowland. Thank you once again. And, guys, we'll go ahead and tune out. We'll leave you on the band here. Hope you guys have a wonderful, safe night, and we will catch you. I believe homecoming is our next spout, so we'll see you then.